What is the crack, YouTubers? Welcome to another episode of Two Bald Knobs. It's myself, Scarner.
And myself, 6+ Stevo.
And it's finally, we've gotten around to it. We've finally gotten the finger out. We're like 2 or 3 weeks behind everyone else because we're not special, sadly, and we don't have our physical copies yet. But we're doing our rules review of Saga of the Beast, finally.
We are. I don't have, like yourself, mate, I don't have my physical copy either. So I have the download copy on my phone in front of me, not far from ideal. So I'm going to be scrolling up and down my phone for the purposes of this review. But this is how dedicated we are. We're coming to you guys. We've got to bring this review to you. So we go through these hardships for you.
It's like
We're
world's
not
smallest violin.
Well, we're not like those big channels, are we, mate? That get their early copies before the whole country goes into the whole world goes into lockdown.
We're not in the big boys league. We're not bitter either. It's okay.
We're not.
At least you know our review's going to be honest because we're paying with our cash. You know what I mean?
There you go. And we play orcs, which we can't say for all of those channels.
Sticking the knife in there.
Yeah. Look, don't worry, guys. I love you guys. Some of you channels I watch, I'm a big fan of. No disrespect meant, but we're an orc channel. We're orc players. We live and breathe this stuff. So, look, you've heard the rest. Now you've come to hear the best. All right. So we're bringing this to you. We're kind of a big deal.
Well, think your head size, you see, expanded twice there. Fucking hell. Right. Okay. So getting into it. Yeah.
This is part 2 of our review, though, isn't it? So this is part 2 of our review.
This is part 2. We have had a lore review.
On my channel, we covered the lore. So we kept you guys waiting for this. A lot of meta players that are like, I don't give a shit about lore. I just want to hear the rules. I want to hear the buffs. Even a lot of the players that are into the lore or were into the lore are like, I don't like the lore anymore. They've ruined the lore. They can't write good lore anymore.
No idea who you're referencing there at all. No idea.
It's like there's 2 names springing to my head. But yeah, we were quite impressed with the lore in this. We thought it was fairly good for the purposes of a campaign book. And
it's a lot better than some of the lore we've gotten previously. Like, you know what I mean?
Get that off the screen now. Get that off the screen. Yes, already from a lore perspective, we have said that Saga of the Beast is far better than Vigilus ever was. And I think, spoiler alert, rules-wise, it's far better than Vigilus was as well. There's a lot of good stuff in this book. A lot of good stuff. There are great ways to encourage theming your army and customizing your army and just adding a lot of extra fluff and character to your army. There's some great power buffs. It's really going to improve the whole meta and competitiveness of orcs in several ways. And there's just a lot of good stuff in it. But there are also some anomalies.
Some questionable writing or use of the English language, shall we say? Something that's like, you what?
Some unnecessary rewordings of rules and things that are just very odd, and confusing, and just strange. But we will get into that. We will get into that, and quite early on, actually, because they appear quite early on in this review. But what we'll do, guys, is we're going to run through it in order as it appears in the book. So if you are one of the lucky few that has the book now in your hands, consider Two Bald Knobs very jealous of you right now. But you can flip along and read along with us as we go through these things and share our thoughts and views with you. So we will be going over it in the order it appears in the book, which starts off with new and updated units, of which there are 3. We have stratagems, of which there are a lot. Specialist mobs, these are the subcultures, and there are a few of those, and they come with their own interesting rules and things. Custom jobs, which has spurred a lot of people to rush out and buy a mech workshop because now it's not shit, but it's also not required. And we've got clan psychic powers, which I was very pleased with. Very cool. Just another way to add a little bit of extra specialisms to the clans in terms of psychic powers, which is really cool. And finally, we end off with a name generator, which are always good fun. And I was thinking, buddy, what might be good fun at the end of this video, if me and you roll a couple of dice and we'll find out what our orc name is.
Well, my orc name's Skarnir, but we could make like a lieutenant or something in that.
I'm not making a Primaris
Second in command.
Well, I've already named my second in command, but yeah, perhaps we could name. We'll roll the dice. We'll get our names, and we
we'll
shall
make an orc
name
character.
An orc character.
An orc character.
I'm just about to start any day now making a Warbanner knob, so maybe this will be the name for my Warbanner knob. There you go.
We're naming the Warbanner knobs these, are we?
There you go.
So I have one built already. So does that mean I need to build another one, or just is this his name?
You have to build one. Maybe once you name him, you got to paint him. There you go.
He's mostly painted, but all right. I'll finish painting him. There we go.
You got off light there, then.
I got off light. It's like, oh, Skarnir's got like
still waiting for the bits to come through the post so I can build the fucker.
Yeah. So you're gonna make a Warbanner knob, and I'll name my one. All right.
There you go. But I've just realised as well. I think my dice are downstairs.
It's all right. I have ample supply. I can roll for both of us. My dice bag is within arm's reach somewhere.
That'll probably benefit me because you probably roll better than I roll anyway.
So
you've seen the intro to my videos, and it didn't take many takes.
I've orky dice as well, so we're grand. We've got some green. We've got a choice of orky dice, so you know.
As long as it's not squig dice, mate, they bounce around like Super Balls.
I saw them. I saw them, and boy, Jesus, no way. Yeah, just a quick word, even just on the ways of the orc, the way it says it, the wording for custom jobs, and I think this is sort of clarifies it. It specifically says, if you open the book and look at it, the rules can be used with a MechBoy workshop or by using the custom job stratagem found on page 72. I think,
and that is the point where it's worded clearly. Later on in the book, it's worded far less clearly, isn't it?
Yes, but
which
literally
I think led to a bit of the confusion with some of the guys out there.
Literally the first part about custom jobs, so make a mental note of that when we're talking about custom jobs later on. So shall we crack on?
We should crack on. Oh, mate, I could just by saying that though, there's a lot of players out there probably literally while listening to this, frantically building their mech shop and going, "What? I don't need it. Fuck's sake!
I didn't need to buy it." It's like, don't worry, I was a fool who bought one when it first came out. So yeah,
it's a cool kit. It's a cool looking kit, regardless.
Yeah, it's got a nice claw, and I like all the tools. I just haven't built it yet. But there's quite a lot I haven't built, so we won't go into that. Right, so
yeah,
Gazzy.
Straight away, Gazgol Thraka hitting in. First name in the book, first new data sheet, the big boy himself. What can be said that hasn't already been said? Nothing. It's all been said. It's all been covered. He's powerful.
He's big, he's powerful, he's a monster.
He's big, he's powerful, he's a monster. Initially, I was when I just read his actual stat line, I hadn't read his special rules yet. When the leaks and the reveals came out, I was like, I'm a bit disappointed here. Like 12 wounds, he is going to drop easy. But then I read on to his Prophet of Gork and Mork ability, which not only gives him a 4+ invuln save, comes with a 2+ save as standard. He can only suffer a maximum of 4 wounds per phase. So psychic, shooting, assault, and I guess in the movement phase as well, if you are being hit by specific weapons like bombs and things that can be dropped during the movement phase. So do watch out for that. Some crafty players out there might have you during the movement phase. But yeah, so it is possible to drop him in one turn, but for some factions, that is going to be insanely hard. I mean, I'm looking at Tau in particular, and Necrons to a bit of a lesser
psychic phase,
yeah, no psychic powers and things.
Thousand Sons will probably make a good job of it.
Well, Thousand Sons, they've got some fairly nice shooting abilities, moderately good shooting. They've got very powerful psychic powers, so it's some factions are going to have a real trouble bringing him down. Tau are going to be screwed. I mean, they're going to be looking at 3 shooting phases minimum, to bring this side down. Yes, they do. They do. But yeah, the whole monster keyword has got a lot of people in uproar. I have no issue with him being a monster. From the perspective of he can be targeted. I'd have no issue with that because size comes with a price. There's a trade-off. We've got a big increase in toughness and strength and just damage potential from him. But Yeah, so he can be targeted and stuff. And some people have an issue with that. I'm not one of them. I have no issue with that. It makes sense. It does weaken him on the table, but with good logical reason. It fits the fluff. He's massive. And of course, every gun in the army is going to be pointed at him. That's going to happen.
Oh yeah, he's a bullet magnet. Like he's
Yeah,
definitely a bullet magnet.
totally.
I think the main issue that people have with him being a monster is the fact that he's not buffed by his own great Wa ability. So the
Yeah.
problem is currently we don't know. We'll have to find out with the FAQ whether this him not being buffed by his own ability was intentional or whether it's someone's made a mess of it. We don't know yet.
I don't know which is better.
Is.
I mean, I do hope that it's an oversight, but if it's an oversight, then GW,
it's a
you
bit
need
blatant.
to do better than that.
Yeah, it's a bit blatant.
Come on, guys, come on. So if that is an oversight, it's a ridiculous one, and that it should have been caught early on. Or if it possibly they may FAQ it in response to the outcry, maybe, I don't know, but I think that does need fixing. That does need addressing, because I do have an issue with that, and it doesn't make sense that the Prophet of Gorkamort won't benefit from abilities like lesser bosses and things do, and lesser characters do. He can't currently be healed by a pain boy unless you use the stratagem.
Yeah. Can't put him in trucks and wagons, so if you're wanting to get him up there,
I mean, that makes sense, because he's probably going to break the wheels on him,
he's different.
Those trucks are fairly ramshackle. I think they would break under the pressure of him.
True, but you need to take this into account. If you're new to orcs, then I suppose it's not going to be too much hassle for you, because you're only going to be new. You've probably never used Ghazghkull before. The tactics you're going to use now are going to be the ones that you're going to know for the first time. Whereas previous orc players, he's different enough that the way that you're going to use him and how to to get the most out of him is going to be different than the way you've treated Ghazghkull before.
Yeah, I definitely. I think I foresee a lot of people using him on a teleport pad. He's 14 power level, so you can do that. Which again, though, he gives out a lot of good buffs, or moderately good buffs, and obviously if you're teleporting him out there, that's going to be of much less use. So it does sort of contradict himself, with some of his aura abilities and things. I think his main purpose, from what I gather from it, is that his purpose is almost to be a bullet magnet and tank a lot of wounds and things, and take a lot of flack off the rest of your boys in your army. He gives out buffs to all clans, and he can be used within any clan, which is cool. It's what we wanted. But I definitely feel he's going to be far more potent in a Goth clan. That's going to be the best place to use him, for sure.
Get your most bang for your buck out of him that way.
Definitely, because the Goths is the best rule. So any Goth units, and it's all Goth units, not just infantry or anything, so anything Goth, within 6 inches of him, re-rolls ones in the fight phase. And combined with their exploding sixes that they already get, makes them an incredibly potent melee force. Really dangerous, ups their combat potential even further. And Goths needed a buff, I think, because Goths are one of the weaker clans in the Codex in terms of the meta. I think generally combat-wise, Evil Sons fare a lot better, although they're not as good when they get into the combat.
Yeah, it's the getting into the combat. Yeah,
they're much better at getting into the combat. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. He's in his 285 points, I believe. I don't want to scroll all the way through my phone to go to the point section back. I'm sure I'm going off memory here, guys, but yeah, 285.
We think he's 285, and then Macari was 55 or something along
Which
those
I know some people have said is a bit overcosted in that. I think if you're using him correctly, and I think there's going to be a lot of experimentation and stuff going on, but I think it's a fair point for what he is. Yeah, he's not overpowered.
No, which we're glad of, to be honest with you. I think if he was overpowered, it would be like,
I think though, meta-wise stuff, a lot of people are still going to opt for a regular war boss, or possibly if they're using Legends units, a war boss in Mega Armor, because I think you can give the Killer Claw, you can give certain Warlord traits and stuff that can get your boss to a really nasty combat potential and give out a reliable 4 damage, just like Gaz is doing. So you can tweak a boss to be very powerful and deliver almost the same sort of damage potential for a lot less points. Obviously, they're not going to be anywhere near as tanky. Regular war bosses are quite squishy. But especially with some of the new stuff we get in this book, which we'll come on to in a minute, you can make war bosses fairly potent now. So yeah, I still think a lot of players are going to opt for the regular war boss, like generic war boss, over Ghazghkull.
Over Ghazghkull, yeah. I like it's a nice model and it's a great distraction unit. I think if you put Ghazghkull down and your enemy's ignoring him, then it's not worth it. But if you put Ghazghkull down and your enemy's concentrating on him, then I think you're getting the most out of the character.
You're going to get a lot of units survive that wouldn't have survived because
they're trying to concentrate and take him down.
Yeah.
That's...
I mean, I think if you're running a pure Goth clan, I'd say he's probably almost an auto include, just because it's Gaz, it's the Goths, he's really nasty, and those re-rollings of ones, he's I mean, I don't think there's much more to say. We've covered Gazzy pretty well, haven't we? And a lot of other channels have covered. Yeah. Everyone's spoken and said everything there is to say about Gazzy. I think the next time we talk about Gazzy is if the FAQ for this comes out and addresses some of these issues.
But definitely the clarification from FAQ will help massively in like his final form, shall we say, in the meta, where his final footing even. But until then, there's not much. It's a bit of a limbo, but
Gazzy stomped off, and I can hear the pitter patter of tiny feet scurrying behind him.
Behind him with a banner. Yeah, Macari is back, man. I was not expecting this at all.
It's very easy, because we've known about him for a long time now, well over a month, and so he's kind of like old news now. But it's easy to forget that GW brought back a long forgotten, long beloved character from way back and put him back in this book, and GW on that one, well done.
You get a thumbs up. There you go.
Yeah, none of us were expecting that. None of us, and even the most cynical of players, even people, I think you may even have got the hobby git to crack a little smile when he heard that Macari was coming back, possibly.
It depends. He's a Gretchen HQ, and there are means to make Gretchen detachments now with their own culture. But even in that regard, he's a Goth. So Macari being a Goth, he doesn't have an ability like Ghazghkull where you could take him in a detachment that isn't Goth and not affect their culture ability, which I think would be useful. It would make sense that Macari would, if he's going to lead a Gretchen army by itself, that... Yeah, hey-ho.
Yeah, it's a shame. We finally got a Grot HQ character. Everyone got really excited, and then it's like, he's Goth. Damn. And of course he is going to be Goth, but it's disappointing on that front. It's a kick in the teeth for them Grot players who really want a pure Grot army. But we'll get more into that when we look at the subcultures, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, on his stats, he is hench for a Grot. I mean, he's hard as
he's toughness 3, like strength 3, 4 wounds, 2 attacks. He's leadership 6. Oh my god.
just legendary bravery.
Weapon skill 4+.
Best of all, comes back with his suspiciously lucky rule, which gives him a 2+ invulnerable save, which is beautiful. It's just awesome. It's just real good fun rule that they brought back from the old days, and it's just very, very cool. And he's got the potential to throw out a few mortal wounds as well with his Macari's Stabber.
If you get him in combo.
Just a regular close combat weapon, but if you roll some 6s, it inflicts D3 mortal wounds. So it's a nice little surprise attack which could yield some results. I certainly wouldn't rely on it. He's only got 2 attacks.
No, so. I think that would be a case of Macari stabs someone's character and you laugh if he manages to kill something. You know what I mean?
Bragging rights, doesn't it? Bragging rights. And he's got some cool little rules in that, like keep up. So he's got a little buff to his movement when he's within range of Gazzy. So they're encouraging you to follow Gazzy around so he can keep pace with Gazzy. So he ups his movement to 7 while he's within 3 inches of Gazgul. When a friendly Goth unit within 6 of this model would lose a wound, and this model is within 3 inches of a friendly Gazgul Thracker unit, roll 1d6 on a 6+, that wound is not lost. So when he is within range of Gazzy, and then when other units are within range of him, he acts as a pain boy, which is cool. Which
helps Gazgul as well, because Gazgul can't be healed by normal pain boys because he's not infantry. So
yeah, so if you want that 6+ feel no pain, you're going to need Makari with him rather than your regular pain boy. And then he's also got the accidental figurehead rule. Friendly Goth Gretchen units can use this model's leadership instead of their own whilst they're within 12 inches of this model, which is a nice buff to Grots. So Goth Grots have got a bit of a buff, and a nice 12-inch bubble as well, which is really good. Usually these things are 6 inches or sometimes even 3.
Yeah.
So a good 12-inch is more than enough for any Grot, I would say. So yeah, that's... That's cool. I still don't think Goth Gretchen are going to be the best. We've got... I still think Snakebite Gretchen are the best because you can have aura abilities in a Snakebite clan that make Gretchen fearless. So that tops everything. Completely fearless Gretchen. But yeah, that's nice, though. It's a nice little buff. I think there's nothing that screams like wow, like this. He's incredible. Like he's a bit of fun, isn't he? He's a fun character to have.
Yeah, I think like even Gazgul himself as well. We were saying Gazgul and Makari, like there are better options out there. But if you're, I think the two of us sort of lean more towards a sort of narrative style. We'd like our armies to be sort of, not like complete meta. You know what I mean? It's all right having a bit of a hard edge, but if you're going full meta builds, I don't think you'd be taking either of these, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
No, I don't foresee seeing them in tournaments and stuff very often.
Like, I could be wrong here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there's a lot of experimenting to be done, and I think people will use Gazzy most effectively in kind of unorthodox ways. Like he will teleport straight into the lines and just be an absolute tank right in amongst your lines that you have to deal with. I think that's going to be a way a lot of people use him. So he's not going to act in a traditional leader capacity of being with the troops, buffing them and getting them up into the fight and, giving out auras. He's going to be more, which kind of makes sense because he's not like an Imperial commander. He's not a Tau commander. He is a massive brutish orc that loves to fight. Yes, he leads loads of other orcs and he is intelligent for an orc, but he's also a Goth that just loves smashing stuff and he's got a foul temper. So it kind of makes sense that he's a bit more of a tank and a beast rather than a strategic commander that's giving out amazing buffs and stuff. But yeah,
it's from the front.
They're cool. They're cool. But mate, I'm kind of skipping through this because I want the one I really want to get to is this is probably more important to most people, most of us, than Gaz and Makari.
The big mech with custom force field.
He's back. He's
right.
Back.
Okay. So first of all,
do the positives first. Should we get them out of the way first?
He's got a detachment. So first of all, like Games Workshop don't give you detachments unless there's a miniature. And we've seen like that boot on the ammo chest or something beforehand. So does this mean we're getting a plastic big mech with custom force field? I would say yes. When? No idea.
It's gotta be, hasn't it? Sure, it would be. I mean, like you say, they don't do rules if they don't have
a miniature.
They don't have miniature. They don't have rules or whatever. This would definitely go against the grain for what they usually do. So. Yeah, I mean, but look, first of all, it's fantastic that he's back in. They've obviously bowed to peer pressure. They've obviously, the survey that they sent out, I think I'm sure every orc player was like, where the fuck is my big mech in custom force field? And because these were the mainstay of virtually
there's two things we lost that were the mainstay. There's the big mech with custom force field, and then there's the mega armored war boss. And I'm like, so where are they now? Like,
which still isn't here. Big War Boss and Mega Armor is currently consigned to Legends. But Big Mech with custom force field is finally back. And not only is he back, he's come with a big points reduction as well, because he is 55 points.
Including War Gear as well in brackets.
Yeah.
So he's come down by 20 points. Like he's
So,
awesome. It's
yeah,
like
he doesn't have to pay for the custom force field
why
anymore.
wouldn't you take him? Like why would you take a mega armored war boss or mega armored big mech in with custom force field? Like, you know what I mean?
You wouldn't. I mean, if you, well, I mean, I would, because I like the minis and that, but
It
you
sort of
wouldn't
fits Bad Moons a bit
from a
more. Yeah.
competitive standpoint. You wouldn't. You just wouldn't.
Well, no,
'Cause
yeah, not even competitively though. I'm like, I haven't been enamored with the big mech in mega armor with the custom force field. It's an awful lot of eggs into like a small
it is.
basket. Elite,
I like it just because it's
because it's flash.
he's got the best
Typical
armor,
Bad Moon.
the best gear, and it's what they would do. But yeah, it's certainly not a wise move competitively, because one, they're far more expensive, especially now, and two, the decrease in movement is killer, because you want them, unless they're sitting back with a static, protecting things like mech guns and stuff, or gun line, you want them to be keeping pace with your Death Dreads or Cans or Gorkanauts or whatever. And yeah, so that's really cool. First of all, it's really cool that he's back. It's really, really cool that he's back, and you can now use him in match play games, tournament games, whatever. There's going to be no discrepancies or anything. You can have your big mech with custom force field back. So happy days on that front. His stat line has remained the same. He still comes with the option for a Grot Oiler. He doesn't have as many options, though, in terms of war gear, in that he doesn't have any options. So you can no longer have him with a custom Mega Blaster or any sort of weapons like that. He literally comes with a Slugger, Chopper, and Stick Bombs, which isn't going to be an issue for a lot of people, because most people just bought him for the purpose of protecting stuff, and they weren't really bothered. But
keeping them cheap as chips, because let's be honest, if your big mech with custom force fields getting into combat, it's like you're kind of
He is an orc, though, so he is likely to end up at some point.
This is true. I have had a demon prince absolutely cleave through a mega armored war boss on me before, and then pile into a big mech and thinking it's gonna win the day, and then funnily enough the big mech just turned around and went pop and killed them. So they can.
It depends. Like if you're running your big mech KFF, he's running alongside a unit of Death Dreads, say, or some Cans, so he's running along with them, protecting them, and then when he gets there, he adds to the combat as well. And I've got a couple I've made. I've got one with a kill saw. I've got one with something else, I don't know, but yeah, I've given, because it's fun to give your characters more personality and character with certain weapons and things. But now you are just stuck with the bog standard Slugger, Chopper, Stick Bombs, which is going to be the optimal loadout. But it would have been nice to. I don't see the need to take away options from him. Even if the options aren't optimal,
this doesn't bother me though. This is the way I've always run mine, is like cheapest chips, Chopper, Slugger.
I just think it's nice to have options there.
It is nice to have options, though.
It's creativity and adding character and stuff, and so I'm a little bit disappointed on that front.
I can understand that, yeah.
He's still got the here we go, Daka rules, the custom force field rule.
This is where things start getting really bleeding weird, because it's like, it's an ability, so it's not even it's not a piece of war gear that you're buying. This is an ability that the big mech with custom force field, that's his name, is Big Mech with custom force field. This is their whole shtick with data sheets, all right? So each data sheet is unique now. So this custom force field, verbatim, is friendly clan units have a 5+ invulnerable save whilst they are wholly within 9 inches of this model. Now, the way the game gets played these days, it's literal interpretations of what's written. It's rules as written. That's what raw is. So that doesn't state that's only against shooting. It doesn't state that it's not in combat. So it's like, oh, this guy just gives you a 5+ invulnerable save while you're wholly within 9 inches of the miniature. It's like, what? I think that's a mistake.
who wrote this fucking
God.
rule? Like, this one thing here. The guy straight away. This is my biggest complaint with this book. This is my biggest complaint on this data sheet. This rule, this little paragraph, fucks me off on several levels. Like, because the rule, as we had before, was that within 9 inches, any orc unit got a 5+ invuln save from shooting attacks. It made sense. He pops out a bubble and it protects you from shooting. Once units are inside that bubble, combat is unaffected. It made perfect sense. It worked. Everyone knew the rule, and it's standard. And that rule is still in effect for things like Morkanauts, the custom, the mech flyer, the crazy one. Sorry, guys, I should know this.
Wazbomb blasted you.
Wazbomb blasted.
Yeah.
And other, the such. Now we've got this, which gives out a completely different type of buff and protection. It works in a really weird way.
Also doesn't give it to the vehicle
against melee. And 2, why the fuck does it only protect units of the same clan?
That's true. Yep.
What the fuck? How does that make any sense? There's no logic to that at all. But this isn't like a little oversight. Someone took the time to rewrite this and did that, and they sat there, rewrote that, and said, "Yeah, that's better. That makes more sense." Whoever wrote this, you're fucking mental. Like, sort yourself out. Seriously.
I just like to remind people who write data sheets that you can copy and paste. It's a function.
That's all they had to fucking do. So 1, they've taken away some weapon options from him, which again, it's not a big issue to a lot of people. It's an issue to me. That bugs me because again, it's not like they didn't add anything that we've been asking for. They've actively put the effort in to take this stuff away from us and then reword rules like that, which it doesn't benefit anyone or make any sense. I mean, in some ways it's better, yes, because you're getting that save in combat, which is nice from a competitive standpoint, but it makes no fucking sense. And the fact that you can only protect, and people generally run mixed detachments and things and want to run different clans, and it's just really fucking weird. And so GW, on one hand, thank you for giving us back the big mech with custom force field. We were all crying out for it. I think we twisted your arm and basically threatened you and stuff. And you bowed to peer pressure. So thank you for, bowing and giving it back to us. But then you had to just fuck it up somehow, didn't you? You had to ruin it.
I find it really odd. It's like the Grot Euler rule is exactly the same as the big Mecha Mega Armor. The big Mechaniac is exactly the same as the big Mecha Mega Armor. The only one that's been rewarded is the custom force field.
Really strange. So now you've got 2 different types of custom force fields in Orc armies now. So you've literally got, and it's written the same fucking rule as sort of well. So you've got custom force field with the rule, and then in your codex you have custom force field, and it's going to say something completely different. So it's going to be confusing.
There's no consistency anymore. This is the problem with 8th edition: is it's by data sheet. So there's no more like when vehicles blow up, all vehicles do this. It's all this specific data sheet does this, that specific data sheet does that, and now
they have different titles. So like Feel No Pain has a different, like it has Disgustingly Resilient. It has different rule, different wording, different title for each thing. So it is a different rule that is effectively the same rule. But this is the same title,
rule, same titled rule, different. Yeah, but it's abilities.
That is going to confuse people in game. That's going to confuse people. It's going to. I mean, is it a sign of things to come? Is that their plan to when we get the next Orc Codex? Are they going to change custom force fields to this?
We don't know. This is
no, thank you, GW. Stick to what we've got. Thank you very much. It makes much more sense. It might be less powerful in some ways, but it makes a lot more fucking sense.
This is another thing that it's like when the FAQ or erratas come out or whatever, this is something that needs to be clarified massively.
Yeah, big time. So basically, I would describe the big mech with custom force field as a tuna sandwich. He's, I like a tuna sandwich. They're really nice and tasty. And sometimes I occasionally on my lunch break at work, I'll nip down to the local shop and I get myself one of them triangle packs of a tuna sandwich. And I'm always absolutely disgusted when I open it up and some bastards put sweet corn in it. And that's what they've done. That's what they've done here. They've put fucking sweet corn on my Big Mac.
I like sweet corn in a tuna sandwich. How dare you, sir? Damn fighting words.
But they just had to fucking tarnish it, didn't they? So you couldn't just, we're like, all right, we'll give it back to you. But since you've been such moaning bitches, we're just going to fuck with it a bit. So yeah, points drop, cool. The fact he's back, cool. The fact that you screwed his weapon options and the custom force field, not so cool, GW. Fix it in the FAQ, please fix it. But yeah, so there you go. That's our rundown of the new data sheets.
The new data sheets are we tried to stay positive, honest, Gulf.
See, even I can be salty at times.
It's always a bad sign when Steve-O goes on a fucking rant. It's like, uh-oh.
If Steve-O's giving you stick, GW,
you're fucked up big time if he's giving you shit.
You don't
fanboy ultra over there. It's like, oh, if he's gone on one, good luck, lads. Good luck.
Should we go on something more positive?
Orc stratagems. Yeah, man. Yeah. We'll go on to them.
I think you need to cover the first one because
the custom job. Now, as I said earlier, you don't need to buy the bleeding mech shop. You don't need to. I mean, do if you want, if you like the miniature, but you don't have to. We have the first stratagem, which is 1 command point. Nice. That's another thing I'd like to mention before we get into all the stratagems. They seem to be a lot better priced than the stuff we have in the Codex. I think a lot of the Codex stuff is very overpriced in regards to stratagems.
I couldn't agree more.
So the first one we have up is custom job, orc stratagem. The little bit of fluff, some orc warbands take particular delight in customizing their war gear. And then the rule itself is use this stratagem before the battle. Your army can have 1 additional custom job, page 76 to 77. All of the custom jobs that you include must be different and to be given to different units. And I think that's where people are finding things confusing. When your army can have 1 additional custom job, people are sort of like, it's ambiguous a bit. It's like, well, does that mean that I have to take I have to have a custom job already? And then the only way you'd have a custom job before using this stratagem is if you had the mech workshop, because you therefore by default get one. So I can see where the confusion comes from. This is another thing that needs to be FAQ'd or errata. Like 3 data sheets we've come across, you know what I mean? And the first fucking orc stratagem we've come across, and it's like, come on, lads. Like, we like buying your books. They're lovely. You know what I mean? We don't mind spending the money, but for the love of God, will you bleeding proofread them? Jesus.
Yeah, I remember when this first came out and me and you were going over it and talking about it, and we were sort of, the wording on that. And that first page we read where it says it's worded a lot more clearly on that first page. You can get it from the mech shop or from the stratagem. That's nice and simple wording. It's like you can get it from mech shop or the thing. With this stratagem, it's kind of said that, like, your army can have 1 additional custom job. And so what it sort of indicates by that is that, and by additional, it means you can get your 1 free one from the mech shop, but then if you want additional ones, you can use the stratagems to get them. So you're sort of like, do I still need the mech shop to be able to use this stratagem? But I think from what we can see, basically you can either do the mech shop or the stratagems, or both. So you can have a free one from the mech shop. By free, I mean free in terms of CPs. You still pay the points for the mech shop. And then add extras from the stratagem. But the stratagem is cool. Like you say, it's fair points for 1 CP.
Oh, yeah, for 1 CP, I think it's definitely worth it. Some of the custom jobs will be worth it when we get on to that section.
We'll get into them later, but some of the custom jobs are good.
They're really good.
Really fucking
good. But I can see how someone who's playing against you will try and rules lawyer that you need to bring like the big mech with workshop, because their use of the English language when it comes to, we're being taught that we need to have literal interpretations of the rules. Well, then the rules need to be well written. You know what
Just
I
yell, "Shut up, Beaky," and throw the mech shop
mean?
at that point.
Get out of here. Right, go on. We'll move on to the next stratagem. I'll let you
Which
read
I
it.
like. I'm a big fan of this one as well. Big fan of this one. This is the cleverest boss. 1 CP. Some Orc warbands are led by insane mech bosses. Use this stratagem before the battle. Select one big mech model in your army. Add 1 to that model's wounds characteristic and attacks characteristic, and change its weapon skill to 2+. You can only use this stratagem once per battle, and only if your army does not include big mech buzzgob. So so for standard big mechs, not big mech buzzgob, but wow, just I don't ever see myself not using this, because I generally always have a big mech in my army. So 1 extra wound is lovely, 1 extra attack, very nice, but the extra weapon skill, oh, that's so good. That's so good, because big mechs have a weapon skill of 3+.
3+, yeah.
And I run mine generally with power claws. Like if I've got my big mech in mega armor, he's running with a power claw, and he always misses, man. The amount of times he's been in combat, he
because it's
swings
down
that
to a
4+
yeah.
and misses. So the fact that he's got the +1 weapon skill, which nullifies that, the fact that he's got an extra attack, which increases your chances of hitting and stuff,
Going up to 4 attacks, yeah.
the extra wound, giving him a bit more survivability and stuff. So this can be your big mech in mega armor, your big mech with shock attack gun.
Yeah.
So really cool, really cool. And it's just a 1 CP +1 wound +1 attack +1 weapon skill. It's incredible. I love it. I love it.
Makes that big mech and mega armor that little bit extra tanky as well, because like he has 5 wounds starting off and goes up to 6, whereas the other big mechs have 4 wounds and go up to 5. So like if you this is perfect for you, because you love bringing that big mech in mega armor. So this is like pretty much an auto include for you.
It is, and I don't often run war bosses in my army. Actually, I generally have them led by a big mech. I'm running a dread mob usually anyway, so they're more useful to me, but they can be a bit lacking because they're kind of knob stats. You know, they're not as big as war bosses. They're not as tough. This addresses a lot of that, and then if you combine this with some of the warlord traits, you can have a really powerful big mech that can be up to war boss sort of levels of nastiness. And yeah, really cool. Fantastic job there, GW, on that one. Thumbs up. No complaints there whatsoever.
Next one up we've got is Grot Bumper. It's going to go straight into the rules. It's use this stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase. When an attack made by a ranged weapon successfully wounds the Boomdaka Snazwagon model in your army, the saving throw is automatically passed. In brackets, do not reroll. Each unit can only benefit from this stratagem once per battle. It's a nice little something if you take Boomdaka Snazwagons, but it's like highly specialized. Unless you bring in Boomdaka Snazwagons, you don't care. To be honest with you, you know what I mean.
It's a cool little thing.
Super situational. I'm sure somebody will play a game out there somewhere where it'll be like, "Well, I used this and it saved me the game," or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's. I don't think it's going to be one you use very often. Like you say, it's situational. When the moment comes up, you go, "Oh, at this point in the game, I really need it to survive." It's got you covered there to use that, so it's quite cool. And it's like they just wanted an excuse to get a special rule for that poor little grot bastard that's strapped to the front of it.
Yeah, poor Mad Max grot.
Almost like they're addressing it, like maybe they forgot to put that rule in the data sheet in the first place, so they're addressing it with strategy.
Maybe it's a nice little bit of fluff. You know what I mean? It's situational, a nice bit of fluff, but I don't see it being used that often. You know?
No, it's cool. We've then got Temperamental Shock Drive, also 1 CP. A lot of 1 CP stratagems, good stuff. It is not unheard of for a Shock Jump Dragster's generator assemblies to spontaneously spin into life. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase after shooting with a Shock Jump Dragster. That unit immediately advances, and the result is a 4+. Do not roll. So, yeah, this...
it makes them consistent.
Makes them teleport, basically, and zip around the battlefield. So you can sort of almost do like a sort of a jump, shoot, jump. You can pop out, snipe things, and teleport off and whiz around the place and be a real annoying unit and just increase its effectiveness and reliability for what it already does, but just make it better at doing that. So again, if you're using them, it's a nice little thing to have. Situational again, and probably won't be used that much. Maybe I don't know.
It depends. You can make them a bit more consistent. This makes them consistent instead of it being a chance. So you could use these for objective grabbing. But then there's another thing that we don't know is like it doesn't mention anything about the rules. So if we look at the shock tunnel rule on the shock jump drags this, it's if you roll the 4+ when advancing with this model, remove it from the battlefield and set it up again anywhere in the battlefield more than 9 inches away from the enemy units. And then the next sentence, after doing so, roll a d6 on a 4+, the model suffers 1 mortal wound. So that's something else that's going to have to be FAQ'd in. Does it still need to roll for the mortal wound?
I think so. I think so because it just doesn't mention it at all, does it?
Yeah, but that's the problem, though. It doesn't. It's not clarified.
I think it just means that you're, like I say, you're reliably doing that. So you're not relying on a 50-50 shot like you would be usually.
You're reliably jumping. But did you see what I mean? More.
What do you do, though? Do you use that stratagem straight away? Or is the slightly more sensible option to roll your dice? And if you really want to do that, roll a CP reroll for the ability. So then it might still not work, but then also you may roll well and not need to use that stratagem. So you could be spending this one CP unnecessarily, or you could roll the dice and go, do you know what, if I fail I'll do a command reroll on it.
Well, you do, you have a valid point there, because you're rolling the 4+ when you're advancing with the shock tunnel, whereas the stratagem itself is in the shooting phase. So technically, you know, different phases, you have 2 bashes at it, you know what I mean? So if it doesn't work the first time around and you really want it, you could, you know,
it's okay. I mean, I never use it because I don't currently own a shotgun dragster. I don't tend to get one.
I don't know. I think this is going to be a hell of a lot better useful than the Boomdaka Snazwagon one, because I can see this being used to grab objectives late game if you still have it on the table.
Yeah, true. And it's great because it means, I mean, this thing does have quite a nasty gun on it as well, and it's got some pretty potent shooting on it, so it can come out, take its pot shot, put some hurt on something, and then get hell away. And you know, just be one of them annoying units that I really want to kill that fucking thing, and it keeps popping over, shooting something, and then fucking off again. It's going to really irritate your opponent. So it's going to be a good annoying unit to use on your opponent with that strategy, definitely.
Another valid, yeah, shoot and then jump away. Yeah, you know what I mean? Sounds interesting.
The next one is the one that got leaked and got a lot of us excited, and I think this is the one that means that Ghazi is not going to be the auto include that a lot of people thought he would be, because this is going to make the vanilla war boss a very, very enticing prospect. And it is, for again, the bargain price of 1 CP, the biggest boss. The bigger the war, the bigger the warlord. These brutes are gigantic savage killers. Use this stratagem before the battle. Select 1 war boss model in your army. Add 1 to that model's wounds and attacks characteristic, and it gains a 4+ invuln save. You can only use this stratagem once per battle, and only if your army does not include Ghazghkull Thraka. So you can't have Ghazi and a biggest boss, because Ghazi probably wouldn't like that someone challenging his power like that, I guess. So you can't have both. But yeah, this is great because war bosses are good, but a little bit, I've always found them a bit too squishy, a little bit underwhelming compared to some of the other HQs from other factions out there. I've always thought they don't have enough attacks. On paper they seem okay, but then when you think, hang on, the Space Marine Lieutenant or this commander, he's dishing out this many, I'm a fucking war boss, I should be tearing people apart. So
they should be afraid to get into toe-to-toe with an orc.
So getting the extra attack is nice, but I think what's really good is the extra wound and the 4+ invuln save. So he's getting a solid 4+ save all the time.
So unless the mortal wounds are being specifically dished out to you, you have some more survivability. And going up from 6 to 7 wounds is really good, and from 4 to 5 attacks, that helps a lot as well. And then take into account you can also use like warlord traits. So like if you use a might as right, you can give him an extra attack. You know, this can be used in conjunction with other stuff to get some really nasty combinations. Yeah,
you get the biggest boss, a warlord trait, and give him like the killer claw, or you know, some of the relics in there. You are running a hench as fuck war boss now, and he's gonna ruin someone's day, I tell you. Definitely. Yeah, so fantastic now. The War Boss customization has just gone up massively, and that is great. So it's good that we've still got ways to tweak and personalize our characters and give them that, again, this with the Big Mech one, 2 kind of auto includes. I see people using these nearly all the time.
Yeah,
If you're
definitely.
running
This
a War
one,
Boss and a
auto.
Big Mech, you're probably going to use both of these, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
If you're bringing a War Boss, why aren't you taking this stratagem? Like, why?
Yeah.
That's all I can say. You bring brought a War Boss, spend
the
a
only
command point
reason
on
you
him.
might not be getting it is because there's so many good stratagems now.
Yeah, but this is
With all the
really like the 4+ and vulnerable save seals the deal on this one for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've already got the option to get that anyway from the relic, the best armor Teeth can buy, the Bad Moon relic. Shiny Gubbins, I mean, which gives the 4+ invan save. So it's really cool for me now that I can have my War Boss with a 4+, and then I could give the Shiny Gubbins to another character like a Big Mech and give him a 4+ invan save. So I can have 2 characters with a 4+ invan save now. So that's very nice for me.
Your Warlord trait is the 4+ and vulnerable save.
That's right, yeah, the Warlord trait, not the Shiny Gubbins. You're correct there.
It is. It's called the best armor Thief can buy.
Yeah, so that's a nice one. I often use actually. The next stratagem is
it's all right. Clever spanner. It's 1 CP, so they're well priced. At least it's like use this stratagem before the battle. Select 1 Looters or Born of Boys unit from your army that contains 9 or less models for 1 CP, or 1 Looters or Bunner Boys unit from your army that contains 10 or more models for 2 CP, so it goes up in price. Once the unit contains 1 or more spanners, you can roll one additional dice and discard 1 when determining the number of shots for Borners or Def Guns equipped on models in that unit. Each unit can only be selected for this stratagem once per battle. Yeah, it depends. Like, you're sacrificing a Def Gun to have the mech, but then you're getting 2 chances of rolling higher. So it all depends. It might save you command points in the long run. You know what I mean?
In another channel, which I won't mention, I saw in their review that they said in their review that they didn't see the point in this, because they said, well, wouldn't you just roll normally, don't worry about the spanner, roll normally, and if you roll low, use 1 CP to do a command reroll rather than doing this. Their flaw in that, though, is that this lasts all game.
Yeah.
So that is where it's good. This lasts all game. Now, if you're using a large mob, which you probably want to be using it on, then it's going to cost you 2 CP. I think this is pretty good. I think it makes, for the fact that you are sacrificing one of those burners or one of those looters for a spanner, which you can have equipped with some good weapon themselves to add to the punch of the unit. They can have. I'm pretty sure they can take custom mega blasters. So they can add to the potential of the unit itself. And I think it just makes them more reliable. For one, burners. I know that you're a bit sore that they roll D3 rather than D6, but at least with this, you are getting a far more reliable D3. So you're much more likely to be hitting those 2s and 3s rather than those 1s, which can still happen. You can still roll, fucking snake eyes, but it's a lot less likely. So it's going to make them a lot more reliable. And when you're rolling with a big mob of looters and you're shooting, you roll that 1, you're like, oh.
And then you spend a command point and you still roll a bleeding 1 on the
and
reroll. You know what I mean?
End up spending a few command points during the game. So I think it's no one put spanners in the units, did they? No one put spanners in the units. No. Now I think with this, I think there's definitely so I don't know. You have 9 looters with a spanner, 1 CP. Reliably,
I think it could. Big units of looters. I think this could have its uses in that they're not going to be burning through your command points, needing those rerolls. Because I've taken looters in my army since 5th edition. I've always found fire support in some form or another useful to keep the enemy's heads down. This might be worth it in the long run.
I think so. Over the course of the game, I think it's going to pay for itself, isn't it? I think it is going to pay for itself, and just being you're going to be getting 2 shots or 3 shots each, a lot more than you were before, and just making them more reliable. And sometimes, if you're playing competitively in that, you want less randomness, you want more reliability. So rolling 2d6, of which you can still spend a because you're not re-rolling roots, you can still spend a further CP to re-roll one of those dice if you choose to. If you did roll the dreaded snake eyes. If you were recreating the beginning of my videos again when you're doing it. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. It's made spanners worthwhile. So they've found a sneaky way to make it not shit to have spanners in the units now, because they come in the kit, they're there. So
might as well use them.
The next one we got 1 CP, The Burning Highway. With hoots of glee, grot passengers pull their fire levers extra hard, unleashing even more flames than usual. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a custom booster blaster unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Until the start of your next turn, change the characteristic of that unit's burner exhausts as follows: range 10 inches, assault 3, strength 5, AP -1. So it buffs the burners. What makes it very cool is that it buffs it to a range of 10, so it opens up possibilities of if you are popping this thing on a teleport or something and getting it within range, it can pop in and burn. It's only assault 3, which isn't, but it's got a few of them though, hasn't it? So you're getting it's okay if you're using them. It's and you want to buff them up and make them a bit better. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it's a bit better than the grot bumper. It's going to be situational. It all depends if you use the unit, but I think it's a bit more useful than the grot bumper, like you were saying.
I think the added because it does have added range, doesn't it? Where's my codex? I need to have a look now. I don't.
Yeah, the custom booster blaster Borna exhaust is like 8 inches, so.
There you go. It's like every other flamer-based weapon. So yeah, having the 10 inches means if you are, I don't know if you ever, I can't see it ever really being that wise to it, but you've got the option now to be able to teleport this thing 9 inches away and flame away.
Teleport the unit. See, it's not just the one. Yeah, unit from your army.
Suddenly teleport a load of them in around your opponent and burn their face off. It's cool. You don't have many options in 8th edition to be able to teleport in and let rip with burners, flame type weapons. So there's very few that can do that. So that's quite cool.
Well, use this stratagem in your shooting phase. Yeah, to the start of your next turn. Yeah, it's just.
The next one is for me is amazing. I love the next one. I love it. I love it so much.
Flying Edbutt, Orc stratagem, 1 command point. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select an Orc unit from your army that has the fly battlefield roll. That model is reduced to 0 wounds and automatically crashes and burns. Do not roll. This is amazing.
So good.
This is amazing. Good. That Tau defense line that keeps doing your fecking nut in with his 9 shield drones and his
plastered up,
all sitting in the corner. This is amazing. Just get your Borna bomber, fly straight over, and try and make a little parking space for yourself if you can manage it, and then just use this, and then mortal wounds everything. Hilarious.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. It's so good. Again, I've had a little bit of criticism on this that it's done during the movement phase, so you can't shoot and stuff. But do you know what? It's a little trade-off, and I think, like I say, it would have been possibly overpowered at that point. But I think it's great because you can. It's at the end of your movement phase as well, and you drop your bombs during the movement phase, so you can fly over, drop your bombs, and then immediately destroy yourself. Because flyers don't tend, in my experience, they don't tend to last very long. They're kind of a one-hit wonder. Usually, I'd fly over, drop the bombs, throw out some mortal wounds, spit out some Daka. And then get destroyed promptly on the next turn. Now, you don't give them the option to. You can destroy yourself. Deny them that easy first blood from that flyer. And just... You're throwing out some damage with the bombs and then doing this, which is going to throw out potentially a fuckload of mortal wounds, like really could, like say Tau gun lines, things castled up. You could be hitting 5-6 units with like fucking loads of mortal wounds. You're going to thin the herd a lot early on. And
well, that's what I mean. Like, it's going to be good with the Borna Bomber because it's straight 3 mortal wounds, whereas with the other flyers like the Decajet and such, you're going to be rolling for how many mortal wounds. So it'll be funny. You know what I mean?
It's cool. I intend to use this.
This would be hilarious.
Lot. It's going to make me bring my flyer a lot more often, actually. Very cool. Very, very cool. Next one, full speed lads. Again, 1 CP. All 1 CP so far. We're liking that. Eager to see what happens to the enemy when they hit them at full pelt. Orc bikers accelerate extra hard. Use this stratagem in your charge phase. After charging with an Orc biker or Deathkiller Wartrike unit from your army until the end of the turn, add 1 to that unit's strength characteristic. Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice little
Furious charge for bikers and Wartrikes. Brought back the old Furious charge rule. Add 1 to the strength.
It's a nice little boost. Could come in handy for some things. You know what I mean?
Bikers are now strength 5.
Boss Knob on a Warbike is strength 5, so he'd go up to 6, and your standard Warbikers are going from 4 to 5. So in regards to attacking things that are toughness 8 and 9, you'd be you wouldn't need 6s because it wouldn't be double. You'd be wounding them on 5s.
And charging units like a unit of Space Marines, you're going to be wounding them on 3s rather than 4s, which is lovely jubbly. And the Deathkiller Wartrike, he's already pretty hench as well, and being able to, again, you could combine this with, if you gave the Warlord trait to the Deathkiller Wartrike, of giving him increased strength stuff, and you use this as well, you're then buffing him even further and making him a very nasty, powerful unit on the charge, and units that are likely to make the charge as well. They're bikers and Deathkiller Wartrikes are going to get into combat. So
yeah, definitely. If you're doing bikers, like we'll speak of Vigilus with the Cult of Speed. It's like, why wouldn't you do like a Cult of Speed detachment then? This helps in that regard. And then even with the Deathkiller Wartrike, the shiny gubbins, the Scargrim's Snaz Trike. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Adding 1 to the bear's toughness and 5+ invulnerable save. So you're adding in. You can do some interesting combinations. I think is what we're trying to get at.
I think one of the big strengths of this book is the combinations, isn't it? There's so much now. There's so many ways you can really maximize a unit's damage potential and buff it.
You can come out with some interesting combos. I just want to say that to people who are new to the faction is don't forget that we have like specialist attachments in the back of Vigilus. To be using that in combination with the Psychic Awakening as well, so that you have a lot of options open up to you.
Next one is Squig Bombs, 1 CP. Strapped with deadly explosives, Squig Bombs clamp themselves to the foe with their massive jaws. Use this stratagem in your movement phase after moving a Blitzer Bomber model from your army. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to rolls made for that model's Boom Bomb ability. So, yeah, that's cool. It just makes the Boom Bomb that much better. And I've got to get the codex. I'm gonna have to reach over.
It's like I have one on hand. It makes things handy.
Here on hand.
Your Boom Bomb with your, yeah.
That's the one. So now I am one of the crazy ones that likes the Blitzer Bomber.
I've always liked the Borna Bomber more myself personally.
And I think most people do. The reason I like the Blitzer Bomber is because its bombs are better. And this makes them even better now because the burner bombs are the burner bombs are 5+,
unless it's infantry
wounds, but you add 1 if it's infantry. But the boom bombs are a 4+, but you add a 1. Roll a d6 for each unit with 3 dice. So it's a 4+ regardless. So the burner bombs get a buff against infantry, but the boom bomb does that anyway. So it's just a 4+, and it's better against vehicles. So I see no reason that the boom bomb it's just better than the burner bombs. The burner bomber's got obviously other advantages of things like avoiding cover saves and it better at exploding. Although that's kind of a moot point now. Now we've got the flying headbutt. But yeah, now it's doing that on a 3+. So yeah, very cool. So just now the Blitzer bomber can go over. You could spend both the stratagems, one stratagem to make your boom bombs better, and then do a flying headbutt to throw it. So this can now has a. It's going to ruin someone's day turn one. It really is. I can't wait to try it out. And yeah, good stuff. Made Blitzer bombers a bit better. I still don't think many people are going to use them, just the crazy ones like me. But yeah.
But like that seems to be the thing with this Psychic Awakening is it's taken a lot of units that are kind of mediocre and giving you the ability to, raise them up a little bit. But there's nothing that's really like uber broken as such. There's a few auto includes we've come across, but that's about it. Like,
but and because there's so many of them now, it's all like they all seem amazing. But remember, we're only going to be able to use so many of these in a game. So like,
yeah,
and there's already ones in the codex that are.
I want one of them. It's like
going
into the getting to pick your ice cream that's going into your account. It's like you can only get 3 scoops, mate. So it's like, but I want all of them.
It's hard decisions. You just wish you could use them all, but you're gonna have to make some tough decisions with these because there's a lot of good ones to choose from now.
What we got next? Special shells, 2 command points. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase. When a flash gets unit from your army is chosen to shoot with, to the end of that phase, increase the range of the snaz gun models that unit are equipped with by 12 inches. That's, it's a bit pricey in my eyes, being the 2 command points, but that's pretty fucking decent.
Snaz guns are really fucking good, aren't they? They are really good infantry killing guns, really good. And I think this is good if you're using a lot of flash kits anyway. And flash kits, though, they're a bit squishy.
A little, yeah.
And they do. That's the kind of one of their drawbacks is that they have to be within that 24-inch range, I believe.
I believe so.
36-inch range, you've got a huge threat bubble there. Especially in the early stages of the game. This is going to be good. It's going to be able to keep them out of harm's way to a certain degree, but it's going to cost you 2 CP. So,
do you know what? I think this is overpriced for what it is. If it was 2 CP to boost their range for the entire game, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that would be.
Auto include. I think.
I don't think that would be broken. But 2 CP for 1 round of shooting, I'm like, that's a bit steep for me. Like, you know what I mean?
I think at certain points, so use this stratagem in your shooting. So use it at any point. Now they're flash kits. So if you're running freebooter rules, and you have destroyed something and you're getting that +1 to hit, that might push you a little bit further to using this. And they're already fairly accurate anyway because they're hitting on. Only the leader guy's hitting on 4s, isn't he? So I know they changed the rules with the flash kits. They get mucking about with them. They all used to have targeting squigs, and even though the models still do, find a squig. So it's only the captain that has the add 1. But no, they do have a ballistic skill 4+. So the captain's hitting on 3s, they're hitting on 4s. If you're running them, with the freebooters, you're getting that +1 to hit if you've destroyed something. So I don't know, if you've reached a point where they're kind of hitting on 3s and stuff, and they're just out of range, you're going to, I'm going to spend these couple of CP to do this.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's probably again situational where you could try and he's just out of range, but I wish I had that bit more range. But like 2 CPs, I still think.
I mean, they're heavy 3. They're 3 shots each, strength 6, AP -2 with 2 damage. If you're shooting at Primaris Marines with 2 wounds a pop, these are lovely, lovely Primaris killing guns. They really are. That -2 AP. And like I say, the only thing that really hurts these guns, and I think more people would have chosen these, they would have, because their flash kits contend with looters. And I think most people go for looters because you're getting that 48-inch range.
Yeah.
Flash kits, though, far better for killing infantry, and they're pretty good in combat as well because they're knobs.
Well, they're knobs pretty much. They used
to be. Yeah, you're just making it better. Do you know what I would have liked to have seen for them is the gun crazy show-offs, so that at the end of the shooting phase you roll a dice, and on a 6 they get to shoot again. It would have been nice if the stratagem gave that sort of buff, like it was like you don't need to roll, you can spend the CP and shoot again with them.
Yeah.
That would have been really
something a
fucking.
bit. Yeah, I think you sort of hit the nail on the head with that strategy. It needs a little something extra for the
Yeah.
cost of it.
I think, like I say, if it had been one CP, it would have been another really good one. Because it's two CP, one of the few in here that is two CP, it does make you stop and think about it. But I think it's nice. It's nice, certainly the early stages if you're just out of range, because those are good guns, and you don't want them being out of range. You want to be able to shoot with them all the time because they're fucking good guns. It might as well because they're heavy guns as well, so it can prevent you needing to move to get within range. You can go, I'll have to move to get them in range, put them in threat, or
Instead
should I
of
stay
hitting on
put in the
fives, yeah.
cover and then do this?
Hitting on fours, I suppose you're getting the better use of the ballistic skill. It's probably another situational one.
Next one we got is Patch Up, 1 CP. With well-equipped and high-quality adhesives, even terrible damage can be temporarily repaired. Use this stratagem at the start of any turn. Select one Morkanaut, Gorkanaut, or Stomper unit from your army. Until the end of the turn, that model is considered to have double the number of wounds remaining for the purposes of determining what row to use on its damage table. So this, I think, is of most use to Stomper, but it's handy for the Morkanaut and Gorkanaut as well. But Stompers and things like that, they're big bullet magnets. Once they've taken damage, they do decrease quite severely in their damage potential, and that their stats drop quite horrendously. And being able to double the number of wounds remaining for the purposes of that, it's gonna, if it's close to death.
Yeah, this is sort of the one last hurrah type thing. You know what I mean?
And I think for 1 CP, it's good. It buffs Stompers, which is always welcome. If you can get its full potential out for at least one turn before it's gone, happy days. Because at full strength, they can spit out some nasty fucking firepower, especially if you've invested in some custom jobs. So yeah, again, a combination with custom job or with some of the subcultures and things, this has got a lot of potential, and it's fairly priced at 1 CP. So it's a nice situational. Or I really don't want him, hitting on those reduced stats. It's 1 CP, get the maximum killing potential out of him. It's good. I like it.
Definitely. I think it's just like literally the last hurrah. My stop is gonna die next turn. I'm gonna try and do as much damage with it as I can before it goes.
It's a big
boom.
fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you in it. It's lovely. And that's so orky and beautiful.
Next one we've got is Unstoppable Momentum. It's 2 command points. Use this stratagem in your charge phase. When an orc unit from your army has finished the charge move and dealt 1 or more mortal wounds to an enemy unit. If the orc unit is no longer within 1 inch of an enemy unit, it can immediately be chosen to charge with again. Nice. Very nice. I think meta-wise, this could be pretty powerful if used properly.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely do quite a lot with this.
Yeah, that's it's very good. So use this stratagem in your charge phase when from your army that's finished a charge move and dealt 1 or more mortal wounds to an enemy unit. If that unit is no longer within 1 inch of an enemy, it can immediately be chosen to charge with again. So it's great. It helps you counteract those beardy players.
Sneaky gits. Yeah.
No, you can't fight now because now we're not in combat because you did their mortal wounds, and so yeah. Very cool. Very
and then
cool.
if you're dishing out mortal wounds on the charge and you've just charged again, you're just going to do more mortal wounds. So either way.
Yeah, definitely. I think it could be used in conjunction with the ramming speed stratagem. That could be quite cool. So I use that with my Death Dreads quite a lot. Get them in mortal wounds and stuff, and then be able to do that again. So yeah, I guess I'd have to see the wording on that. If you charge again, do you still dish out more mortals? I don't see any reason why not.
It'd be another charge. Why wouldn't?
Yeah. Doubles the amount of mortal wounds you're dishing out. Beautiful.
It's like if there's something, it could be a couple of situations you want to deal mortal wounds on something someone tries to remove guys out of the way with damage, or maybe you bounce from one unit to another. You know what I mean?
We've always been a faction that's lacking in the mortal wounds department compared to some factions. And so now we've got a lot more options to throw out mortal wounds and things, which is really cool. Very cool. So yeah, it's nice. 2 CP, it is expensive, but I think in the right situation could be worth it with the right unit and the right situation. Next one, Wildfire, 1 CP. The most insane burner bomber pilots add all kinds of strange chemical solutions into the burner bombs. So here's one for you, buddy. Use this stratagem in your movement phase. After selecting an enemy unit for the burner bomb's ability of a burner bomber unit from your army, select one other enemy unit within 6 inches of the unit you selected. Roll 1d6 for each model in that additional unit, up to a maximum of 10 dice. For each roll of 5+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. This stratagem is not affected by the arsonist's subculture. So, yeah, again, just like the Blitzer Bomber one, this improves the effectiveness of burner bombs in that now you are not just doing it to that unit, you're hurting another unit nearby. And then, again, follow it up with a flying headbutt. So bombers are just fucking brilliant now. So good.
Definitely. I could see this being useful. It's like you're sacrificing the unit, but at least you know you're going to do some decent damage output with it. You know what I mean? That's the important thing. Between that and the flying headbutt, coming in, doing your bombing run. Maybe, you know, it's turn 2 or 3 and you're down to your last few wounds. It's like, why wouldn't you, me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Next one, I love the name of this one. Dreaded Death Machine. 1 CP. As the insane orc pilot in the Death Dread kills more enemies, the more frenzied they become. I love what some of these, they're not just good, they're fluffy as well. They're really good. Use this stratagem in the fight phase. When a Death Dreads unit from your army is chosen to fight with, until the end of the fight phase, each time an enemy model is destroyed as a result of an attack made by that unit, you can immediately make an additional attack against the same target using the same weapon. These additional attacks themselves cannot generate any further attacks. So, yeah, when you kill stuff, you get to kill more stuff, basically. And Death Dreads are pretty good at killing stuff. So, in the right situation, I mean, a Death Dread armed with 4 killer claws or kill saws, putting a lot of hurt on people, you're then putting more hurt. And it's cool. It's 1 CP. What's not to like? It's awesome.
It'd be even better if, like, the Death Dreads didn't have their Dread Mob ability where they count as an independent unit after they're deployed.
You can do it to all 3 of them.
You could do it to all 3 of them. It would be like
as a unit, but it'll always just be.
I have you now, lads. But sadly,
but yeah, this very cool, very cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's good. It's good. It's not amazing, but you know, it's good. It's good.
I think on like a Goth Death Dread, it's going to be nasty.
I get some interesting combos. The last one, hit 'em harder. Hit 'em harder. 1 CP. Use this stratagem in the fight phase. When a Mega NOBZ unit from your army is chosen to fight with until the end of that phase, add 1 to the damage characteristic of a melee weapon models in that unit are equipped with. This is good. This is really fucking good. If you manage to get a decent charge off against the likes of a knight or, you know, whatever, you're
kill saws are damage 3 and killer power claws are D3 plus 1 now, so you're hitting 2 minimum with your power claws, potentially 4. Can put the hurt on people big time. It's really good. It's a bargain. Mega Knobs are already really tasty in combat anyway. This is cool. My only issue with this is that I would have preferred it to be called Gazzy's Bully Boys, and I would have preferred it to be a buff, much like the big killer boss, to be a all game buff to Mega Knobs, to like whether it had been a Goth exclusive or whatever, to just be able to fluffily have Gazzy's Bully Boys, which is a massive oversight. GW, I can't believe you didn't think of that in this.
For anyone new to orcs, the Bully Boys are Gazgul's bodyguard. There is specific. They tend to be like mega armored knobs and stuff like that.
His chosen elite.
Yeah. If it was like a permanent thing, I'd expect it to be like 2 command points or something. But this is really good. Like the kill saw is going from 2 damage to 3. Awesome. Your power claw going from D3 to D3 plus 1 helps. You're getting minimum 2. So yeah, good, really good.
It's very good. I'm a fan of Mega Knobs anyway, and that's just that's really cool. So yeah, stratagems wise, I'd say we're pretty happy with that. There's a lot of good shit there, man.
Generally in the spread, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. There's 1 or 2 it's like, why would I bother? There's a couple of them where it's like situational. But as a whole, like I think they're pretty well priced.
Unlike the Codex, there's nothing in there that I would say shit. Like there's some in the codex that are just stupidly overpriced. Like we've got some in there for 3 CP. Things
Yeah,
like
I think
hard boys for
definitely.
2 CP. No GW, 1 CP, 1 CP, and then we might use it. No one uses the hard boys stratagem currently because 2 CP is just ridiculous.
There's always one person. You'll see them furiously talk. I use the
Yeah,
hard boy stratagem.
yeah, and it's really good.
How dare you? I'm
So
sure.
now we're on to the specialist mobs, which again has divided the community on whether these are good. But I think people are missing, some people anyway, have missed a trick with this because they're kind of looking at it as a replacement for your clans. And they're saying, well, look, the clan traits are generally better than the specialist mobs. But I think these are designed more, one, from a fluff perspective to add a bit more character and theme to your army, but also, two, for use in multiple detachments. So you still run your clan, but then you have a detachment using these units specifically that are going to benefit from this in a smaller detachment, and then give them one of these subcultures to benefit from these buffs. And there's some really good combinations and potential here. And I think there's some good stuff here, man. Some interesting stuff, some fluffy stuff, and some quirky stuff, and some quite powerful stuff.
Well, I think you hit like a valid point there, though. It's like I can see this type of stuff being bolt-on detachments. Maybe not being your core clan, but it's like, oh well, you have a bolt-on detachment of flyers or bikes or something specialist. This is a little something extra for them. You know what I mean?
It's rewarding players for taking their army in a certain theme as well. I think if you've got like a really unique idea for your clan and stuff, and maybe you don't want to run one of the general clans, maybe you've kind of invented your own clan and your own color scheme, maybe all your boys are dressed in orange and they don't belong to any of the clans, and you want some other theme, and they've got a love for burning shit, well then
Convicts.
Subculture for you. Pyromaniacs, arsonists. So with this, you can re-roll any and all of the dice when determining the number of shots made for burners, scorchers, burner bottles, burner exhausts, killer jets, scorcher missiles, equipped on models in a unit with this subculture. When resolving an attack made with the melee profile of a burner equipped on a model with this subculture, you can re-roll the wound roll. That bit's really nice. When resolving the burner bomb's ability for a unit with this subculture, add 1 to each roll. So yeah, anything, any burner type weapon basically is getting rerolls across the board when determining the number of shots made for them, which is again very, very cool. Just making all our burners and scorchers much more reliable. Scorchers are expensive. This is going to make them much more reliable and better. Burners only do D3. Now you're getting a reliable D3 with that. And burners getting re-rolls to wound in combat, like, they're really nasty in combat now. Like, it's kind of lightning claws, you know, re-rolling wounds. It's just nice. It's very, very nice. It's really fucking nice.
Like I could see why they said in the wildfire that like the arsonist subculture doesn't, because otherwise it would stack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could see it's like, oh, that's a bit of a hoo-hoo.
Yeah.
I can see why he specifically said that.
You are capable of noticing some of this shit and, you know, getting the wording right sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it gets picked up in some regards. It's like some combinations were specifically used in playtesting and they pumped the brakes on it a bit, but then some other stuff was some blatant flaws. I don't know. Like, I get the impression in this regard that like maybe in playtesting this type of thing was picked up, and then there's been like changes to stuff at the end where, you know,
because believe it or not, they do playtest this stuff.
apparently so.
Not enough, but they do it. But yeah, so this is cool. And like I said, this is a perfect example of are many people likely to have an entire army that uses the pyromaniac subculture? No. But if you use a burner bomber, you use a few units of burners and things, you use some of these units with these weapons, are you likely to put them in there? Yeah, you like to have a little outrider detachment or whatever, to be able to gain these buffs. And it's cool. It's not, it could be any units as well. So you could have 6 killer cans all armed with Scorchers doing this, or a Death Dread armed with 4 Scorchers, and run him in there and be re-rolling all those D6s and stuff. So you could have some fun with this and make some really reliable, good burny shit. And Scorchers and Burners are cool because they auto hit, and auto hitting for orcs with a ballistic skill of 5+ is lovely jubbly, and this just makes it a lot better. So yeah, cool. Not overpowered, not probably meta, but better, a buff. Good shit.
Nice. Next one up is Hunters, Sneaky Devils. So infantry models only, in brackets excluding Gretchen. I can feel the malice already. Whilst a model in a unit with this subculture is on or within a terrain feature, it gains a 5+ invulnerable save when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in a unit with this subculture. While that model or any model in that target unit is on or within a terrain feature, improve the weapon's armor penetration characteristics by 1 for that attack. E.g., AP -2 becomes AP -3.
This is one that's in definite contention and competition with Blood Axe clan trait, isn't it? Because this is the one that's similar and on the same sort of fluff type lines, but it's situational. I feel like it's going to be good for a lot of objectives. Tend to be in pieces of terrain, so I think it's going to be nice for shifting units off of terrain. Getting that +1 AP is going to be nice. 5+ invuln save
when in terrain feature
handy, so you're getting the cover save anyway, but then you're getting an invuln save as well when you're in the cover. It's okay. I think
I could see myself using this like with my units of looters, because I nearly always put them in terrain that has some form of vantage point, to try and get some good shooting. So I could see myself doing that, and what I'd probably do is I would take units of looters. I'd take probably 3 units of 10 grots minimum just to hold objectives. They wouldn't get a buff off of this, but you wouldn't really care. And it frees up your big mecha with custom force fields. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I think, and I think for your clan, it's cool because you have a little, like you say, another detachment of these hunters, but it's not diverting from your clan because it's still very Blood Axey, but it's like they're a really elite specialist. They're kind of diverged from the Blood Axe into like a really stealthy kind of sneaky. So it still fits the fluff. It's it's rewarding that fluff and that character of the army and being able to add some things in there. And yeah, that's a good way to use it actually, mate. Giving your looters some survivability, but without breaking the sort of fluff and theme of your army, and not feeling the temptation to put them in another clan and kind of breaking the fluffy theme that you've got going.
Well, yeah, I suppose if you wanted to get the most out of looters, you'd make them bad moon, so you can do Daka Daka and showing off. Showing off being bad moon only is like, oh my god, it's so annoying.
So good. Well, this next one, this is one that is a contention. So if people don't want to run bad moons, but they do want to get the improving stats, this next one might be for you. And this is one that I've definitely read with great interest. Boom Boys, blow it up. Improve the strength and armor penetration characteristics of rocket and stick bomb weapons. These are weapons that have the same rocket or stick bomb, the name rocket or stick bomb in their profile, e.g. rocket launcher, stick bomb chucker, as well as tank buster bombs, wing missiles, cannons, kill cannons, death cannons, deboomers, and lobbers equipped on models in a unit with this subculture by 1. E.g., AP -2 becomes AP -3. Note that for combi weapons, this bonus only applies to attacks made with the rocket launcher profile. So my immediate thing was tank busters, to buff tank busters to strength 9, AP -3 is really good. And tank busters are already brutal as it is. Now, strength 9, if you're shooting at like land raiders or something, now you're wounding on 3s. Rather than 4s, and it's
that tank buster blitz that you're gonna do of like the jump and like showing off and Daka Daka, you know what I mean, in combination with this just adds.
Well, you're not going to be able to do showing off.
Well, I suppose.
Because, yeah, that's that.
You lose it. You know what I mean? This is the thing, though. I'm always thinking to myself, cultures and stuff. You lose.
This is a trade-off. So you can still do the more Daka. So you're getting that.
Is it worth it then?
So for me, it's looking at like, do I want them as bad moons? Getting the reroll of 1s against all units, and the ability to use the showing off, or do I just want to up their stats all game to strength 9? Because that's a one use thing. This is all game strength 9, added AP. It's worth considering at the very least. It's worth considering.
I don't know because
also you get this. So tank busters are very popular to run around in a truck or in a battle wagon and give them that protection and mobility, but then you can't use stratagems
on them.
You don't need to worry about that. You can have them nice and safe in the truck or the battle wagon. They're spitting out strength 9 rockets now, and strength 9 is rare for orcs. So against certain things, it's going to be really nice, and that added AP helps a lot as well. Land Raiders, watch out. Yeah, and it's not just them either, though. So again, killer cans with rocket launchers, Death Dreads with rocket launchers, knobs with combi rockets, mega knobs with combi rockets. There's a lot of things there. There's a lot of shit.
Yeah, but it's the volume. It's the volume of the tank busters, I think, is where you'd get the most bang for your buck out of the likes of this.
Bombs.
And I don't...
The strength of the tank buster bombs as well.
Oh. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's worth it losing. Like, if you're going to go pure meta, you're going to go bad million tank busters. You're going to, because you want the 2 rounds of shooting. That's what this is competing against. That's what this is.
You're right. It is competing against that. But I think... I don't know, man. There's a lot of potential with this.
This is nice. This is nice. If you're more of a narrative type player and you don't play bad millions and you don't want to use bad millions, there's no reason for you not to take this. But if you rock bad million tank busters and you specifically do like the tank buster blitz with them, which is dropping them in, getting 1 turn of absolute madness shooting out of them, and then they probably get shot off the board, you wouldn't go near this.
Or maybe you have this in a detachment, so your def guns are bad moons with your looters. They use that rule, and then you put your tank busters in the Boom Boys detachment and have them with this.
Yeah, but then there's still
stuff around. There's a lot of
still coming up against the same problem. Well, I suppose, they don't have the
using the rockets in, and other stuff. Again, it depends the type of list you're coming up against. So if you're coming up against a highly mechanized list, that extra strength, extra AP is going to be really nice. And looking at the other stuff, it benefits as well. Like the lobbers, it makes lobbers quite nice as well. Added strength and AP to lobbers, very nice. Kill cannons, the boomer, so you can increase your battle wagons, your gun wagons, and yeah, good stuff. Does it make stick bombs worth using? I don't know.
I don't.
Up in stick bombs, strength and AP, and then using the stick bomb stratagem where you can throw with 10 models.
Chuck a load of stick bombs. Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
could be worth a shot.
Interesting combination.
Yeah, I think some people are writing it off for the reasons you said, but I think it's worth considering. It has.
It's not like I'm not saying it's totally worthless. I'm just saying that it is competing with a very strong combination that we already have.
No argument there, because it is fucking good.
Yeah,
I use it.
He smiles gleefully
every game. Anyone that plays me is like, here we go. You're gonna destroy all my tanks now. Turn 1. Next one we've got is I almost skipped ahead one. Flyboys, crucial velocity. Fly models only. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against a unit with this subculture by a model that is more than 1 inch away, that unit is treated as having the benefit of cover to its saving throw. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon against a unit with this subculture in a turn in which it was more than 1 inch away from any enemy units at the start of the preceding charge phase. Shit me, this one's a mouthful. Subtract 1 from the hit roll. Basically, makes all your flying stuff more survivable.
Makes them harder to hit, yeah.
And if, again, use this in an outrider detachment with a load of death copters or something, makes them a bit more survivable. It's cool. It's good. It's all right. There's not really much to say on this one, is there?
No, it's okay. I'm sure there's a lot of armies out there that could
detachments, isn't it? Of just getting a load of death copters in, or a little detachment of your flyers, and making them harder to hit. I
it
mean,
just depends.
subtracting 1 from the hit roll, especially with so flyers. So is it?
Depends what you're playing against. If you're coming up against stuff that are able to buff their to hits and have enough like rerolls and stuff like that, then it may not be as useful. It just depends what you're playing against, really. You know what I mean?
Just have a quick scan of the flyers quickly. So I just want to check something because it doesn't say fly, so it's just fly. So this works for things like deathcopters and stuff, as well as the actual flyers.
Fly models only.
But I just want to check quickly. So yeah, they got the fly keyword. Of course they have. Cool. They're already -1 to hit, so you're basically -2 to hit now with flyers with this. So it is going to make your Dakka Jets and your burner bombers a lot more survivable. -2 to hit now, because it doesn't say anything about it not stacking. It just says subtract 1 from the hit roll. So very cool. Mind you, that's in the charge phase, isn't it? So subtract 1 from the hit roll in the charge phase, and it gets an invuln save.
So when they're charging, so then like, is it gonna work on
benefit of cover to its
Storm Boys then, because they have the fly keyword?
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, make them nicer. And you can't charge flyers anyway, can you? Unless you are a flyer. So yeah, it's okay. So you've got basically you're getting -1 to hit in some combats, and you're getting treated as being in cover when you're being shot at. So it's cool. It's cool. Again, I don't see any reason that you wouldn't take this if you had a little detachment of those kind of units anyway. Put them in this, make them a bit more survivable. But you're obviously going to be, again, you're competing against other clan things. Do you want the re-rolls of 1 in the shooting phase from Bad Moons? Do you want the added mobility from Evil Suns, etc.? Or do you want to make them a bit more survivable? It's giving you something to think about and some more options. So it's okay. It's cool.
On to the next one, and I think this is the one that quite a lot of people are happy to see. It was also like previewed for us, like sneak peeked. Grot mobs, cheeky zuggers, Gretchen models only. Models in a unit with this subculture gain a 6+ invulnerable save when resolving an attack by a vehicle model in a unit with this subculture. Reroll a hit roll of 1s. So people have been wanting to do their Grot Revolution armies. There you go. You can have your little Grot detachment. The only problem you're going to come up against, like we've said so far, is the only dedicated HQ you have for Grots is Macari, and he's a Guff. The Red Gobbo is a Legends unit now. He's elite. So, if you're happy to bring Orc HQ units that are going to be proxies but won't benefit from your cheeky zoggers, I could see a lot of people having a good bit of fun. And then your vehicles, so like your killer cans, your grot tanks,
mech guns.
Yeah.
This is brilliant for me. This for me, I am definitely planning on using this. I'm still going to be running Bad Moons, but all my grot units are now going to be grot mobs. And they're going to be led by some sort of HQ that is going to lose his buff because he will no longer be a Bad Moon, so he's going to lose. And he's not a grot, so he's not going to benefit from this. But I'll just throw something like a weird boy in there who doesn't have guns anyway, so it's not going to hurt him. But now my killer cans and my mech guns all getting a 6+ invuln save and being able to re-roll 1s like the rest of my army. So good. So good. I do feel sorry for people like the Hobby Git, though, who are hoping for a proper grot mob in terms of like, actually having a grot HQ and being able to have a pure grot army. That sucks. And I do feel bad for those people. But if you wanted a little sub thing within your army of grot mobs, this is cool. This is really, really cool. And yeah, it's mint. It's definitely buffed killer cans and mech guns and grot tanks. Lovely. Because they didn't benefit from clan cultures, so there's not really a reason not to do this. If you're going to work it that way, it's cool. It buffs all your grot units. Lovely jubbly.
It's good in that they're trying of, people are like, they wanted something. So hopefully the next codex we get will have something like this default for grots. You know what I mean?
Now, the next one is another one that I stopped and took a close eye on because I do run a dread mob. So this one is of severe interest to me. Tin heads, crush and crump, killer cans, Death Dreads, Mega Armor, so good, Morkanauts, Gorkanauts, and Stompers only. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in a unit with this subculture, add 1 to the hit roll. Oh my god. Really, really fucking good. Really good. Especially for the Mega Armor. Mega Knobs now out on their own, away from a War Banner or whatever. They're not going to be hitting on 4s anymore. They're going to be hitting on 3s. Going to be hitting on 3s. So that's so good. And yeah, Death Dreads hitting on 2s. Killer Cans hitting on 4s rather than 5s. Again, really, really good. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And I think for Dread Mobs, definitely worth considering. Again, it's competing with the clan cultures and stuff. Are you going to use it over clan cultures? I think it depends on what your army list is like. But if your army list consists of like pretty much nothing but this stuff, it's definitely worth considering. Or if you have a detachment of cans and Death Dreads and stuff, up in their combat potential in melee is well worth considering.
I think where the tin heads sort of crush and crump subculture works best is with the mega armor, especially in combination when we're thinking about the stratagem that we have with the hit them harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're gonna be actually hitting with
plus
more
1 damage,
and then you're gonna be doing like +1 damage at least. So it's a nice little building combo there. I think the mega armor unit is the one
have a War Banner nearby as well, and now you are hitting on 2s with +1 damage with a unit of Mega Knobs.
You'll definitely ruin someone's day.
That is Gazzy's bully boys right there. Fuck me. They're gonna fuck anything up.
Face.
Next one we've got
Feral Orcs
representation, which are not the same as Snake Bites. Feral Orcs and Snake Bites can be the same, but they don't have to be the same. So Warboss, Weird Boy, Knobs, and Boys only, excluding Biker and Mega Armor. Models in the unit with this subculture can pile in up to 6 inches. Nice. When making an advance roll for a unit with this subculture, roll 2 additional dice and discard 2 of the results. So they're rolling 3d6 when advancing and discarding 2 of the lowest. So that's really fucking good. And piling in 6 inches, which is really nice for making sure you're getting as much into combat range as possible.
Or trapping people.
Yeah, or traps surrounding people, certainly. Or, dealing with those people that take their casualties from the beardy places and that, and trying to really get in and prevent that. Yeah, it's good. This one's obviously competing with the Evil Sons, though. Is it as good as Evil Sons? I don't know. I don't think it is. Evil Sons, they're getting +1 move, +1 advance, +1 charge. It's consistent. It's good. I don't know. Like the pile-in, the 6-inch pile-in is really.
The 6-inch pile-in, I think, is the magic in this one.
And the 3d6 advance is again.
It is pretty good. It is pretty good. But I definitely think it's like the pile-in up to 6 inches. That's going to allow you to trap a fair few bits and pieces. Whereas normally with your 3-inch, you'll be struggling to do that. With 6 inches, yeah, I think you'll find this very handy if you're managing to beat someone and then trap them in, overwhelm them.
I think this one is good, but I think it's I would, if I was after this kind of added speed and stuff, I don't think this is good enough to draw me away from Evil Sons, because Evil Sons are so fucking good.
Like directly really competing with it,
and like they're up there with the Death Skulls and the Bad Moons for like the top end like clans to play as. Like my experience of playing with Evil Sons is like these guys are fucking good. Like they're so fast, and they don't have any of the negative modifiers to their assault weaponry, which is so powerful. Like Evil Sons shooter boys are just so fucking good.
Advancing and stuff, shooting and stuff.
Yeah.
See,
and it covers Evil Sons covers everything. This only covers Knobs, Boys, Warboss, and Weird Boy. So it's limited.
So I think what we'll do is we'll go on to the last one here, and then we'll give like a summary in general, because I'm getting to that stage now where I'm like, I have we've gotten through enough of them. We're getting a feel for them. Let's go over the last one and then give a summary of them. So, Mad Boys Frantic. It is infantry and biker units only, excluding Gretchen. At the start of the battle round, roll 1d3 and consult the table below to establish what effect appeals to the units with this subculture until the end of the battle round. This roll cannot be re-rolled. So if you roll a 1, you'll get Moronics. When resolving an attack that targets a unit with this subculture, add 1 to the saving throw. In brackets, invulnerable saving throws are unaffected. If you get 2, you get Nutters. Units with this subculture automatically pass morale tests. And then if you get a 3, you get Frenzies. Add 1 to the strength characteristics of models in a unit with this subculture. It's nice little bit of fluff, and it's good to see that they sort of, hark back to the Mad Boys and throw it in.
It's random and it's fluffy, but there's nothing here that's bad, is there? Whatever you roll is pretty good. So you're getting add 1 to the save and throw, which is always nice, always welcome. Automatically passing morale is really good, especially in the later stages of the game, because morale can hurt us. People falsely assume that, if I've got 30 boys, I don't have to worry about morale. You're wrong. You do need to worry. You only don't need to worry in like turn 1 and 2. Like later on in the game, you do need to worry about morale a lot. So that's always welcome. And adding 1 to the strength, again, always welcome. So whatever you roll, it's going to be useful. So it's random and crazy, but I think for Fluffy and players that are playing for a bit more for fun and stuff, this is going to be really cool, and it will make for some good. And we've always been crying out that we need more randomness and more fun in Orc List, and this subculture delivers nicely. So I like that one. I like that one a lot. It'd be a fun one to use.
Yeah, I think it's a fun one, but I couldn't see it being used that often, like competitively.
No, too random for competitive, I think. They don't like randomness in the tournament scene. They want reliability. They want results.
So we're coming to the wrong bleeding army, so lads. Coming to the wrong army. So then, like, a summary of the subcultures. I think some of them are good. There's others that are better than some of them. But the problem is they're competing with the clan cultures. And I think if these were in addition to a clan culture, I don't think it would be broken. I don't see why it's a case of either or, because they're always going to be competing against the clan cultures, and some of the clan cultures are just that good. It's a case of why would you take these? Now, for the likes of us who are looking for a more narrative type of thing, something a bit more fluffy, yeah, you'll probably see them used more often. But
and I think you've raised a good point there. That's what people have to remember about this book. This is a campaign book. It's designed to add some new interesting stuff to your list, some more fluff and things. And there is a lot of good competitive stuff in this book, but I think these are much more designed. A lot of the reviews I've seen have been coming at this from purely a competitive standpoint, and they haven't really mentioned that this is really cool, that this is adding some character to your army and stuff, and that's a point that a lot of people are missing. It's not just about uber powerful and are these better. Are they different? Are they interesting? Do they add some nice character to your army and give you some buffs and rewards for doing that? Yes, they do. And for that, I think they've succeeded. And there's certainly ones in that I definitely intend to use and experiment with. Grot Mobs in particular, the Tin Heads one, possibly the Boom Boys one, are 3 that stand out to me for my style of play and army that are certainly going to be worth my consideration. But
whereas I'm looking at it going, pyromaniacs and hunters,
You see, it enhances the kind of theme that you've already got with your army and rewards you into there's certain units that could buff there. So yeah, it's good shit. I like it. I like it a lot. This next section though, there's a lot to like in here.
Yeah, oh my god.
First of all, we've already said it a couple of times. You don't need the mech shop. If you have the mech shop, you get one of these for free after you've paid the points for your mech shop. Or you can spend stratagems to get these, or you can do both and have lots. But you have to give different ones to different units. So you can't have the same one over and over again, and you can't stack them on a unit. I mean, if you could, that would be tasty and possibly broken. But yeah.
So we'll get into the rules. It's like if your army includes one or more Mech Boy workshop units, you can give one of the following custom jobs to an orc unit from your army. In addition, you can take custom jobs by using the custom job stratagem. All of the custom jobs that you include must be different and be given to different units. So I think people are getting confused in addition. It also says, note that some custom jobs are weapons that replace one of the model's existing weapons. Where this is the case, you must, if you're using points value, still pay the cost of the weapon, that has been replaced. Write down the custom jobs and models have on your army roster. If a unit that has a custom job is treated as a separate unit once they've been deployed, e.g. speed mobs, dread mobs, all of those units retain the custom job. So I think this is part of the confusion that's been sown to people. It's, in addition, you can take custom jobs by using this custom job stratagem. Some people are like, in addition, in their minds means,
you have to have the one to get the free one, and then you can use the But
where it's like,
as we've seen from that first page, that's not the case. You can either or.
It just needs clarifying.
Now listening to us now, they're like, shit, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this fucking thing now. But yeah, let's get into what some of these custom jobs are, because there's some good fucking shit here, man. So I'm sorry, excuse the language, guys. You're probably used to it by now, but I'm excited. So Squig Hide Tires is the first one. Speed Freaks, excluding named characters and units that can fly. Battle Wagon, Gun Wagon, Bone Breaker, or Truck unit only. Add 2 to the unit's move characteristic. Yes, all right. It's okay.
Do we have a named character for Speed Freaks? Like, even if, like, what if I go into Legends, maybe? Where's Legends?
I know what you're thinking, man.
I'm like, why are they saying name?
Gutsmech. Is he on his way? Gutsmech.
Maybe.
Can you hear that bike in the apocalypse?
Because I'm thinking to myself, like, why are they saying that specifically? You know what I mean?
I don't know. It could just be covering himself, future-proofing things. You never know, but yeah, something to think about. But yeah, this is okay. Adding 2 to the unit's move characteristic. Trucks. I've always found trucks, they are a bit slower than they used to be. So it's nice. I don't think many people are going to use this though, because if you're after the extra movement, you're probably running Evil Sons anyway. And then this added extra 2 is probably going to be fairly irrelevant anyway. And there's much better things than this in here, but it's all right. Well, if you want the added movement, it's there for you. If you want it, it's okay.
I was looking at it in conjunction with I'm going back to the Vigilist book. I was looking at it in conjunction to the specialist attachments that you can get, like the Cult of Speed one. Mm-hmm. And they have a stratagem all of their own where it's 2 command points, turbo boosters. Use a stratagem to start your movement phase. Pick a Cult of Speed unit from your army. If that unit advances this phase, double that unit's move characteristics instead of rolling the dice. Now,
so you get +2 move, and then you're doubling the move.
Yeah, so +2 move would be like 16-inch move on a unit of bikes, and then doubling that would be like 32-inch movement. So this could be used in conjunction with other stuff. That's what I'm saying to people. Still take into account, like, if you're new, there's some rules in the Vigilist book that you may find useful. Like, so it could. That's what I was thinking straight away. I was like, well, how could you get the most out of like 2 inches of movement? It's like if you use a stratagem to double your movement, that's an extra 4 inches. Like,
yeah, you're guaranteeing yourself some turn 1 charges there, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, anyone would be impressed with an extra 4 inches, Steve. Like, let's be honest here.
Well, yeah. And getting like objective grabbing and stuff, added movement and stuff is always nice, being hampered by movement. So it's cool. It's cool. It doesn't excite me because there's other stuff in here that just speaks to me more than the added movement.
Yeah. There's way better stuff, but just
we've got the souped up special. Boomdacker Snazwagon unit only. Souped up special replaces the unit mech special and has the following profile: 30-inch range, assault 15, strength 4, AP -1, damage 1. So yeah, if you're running a Boomdacker Snazwagon, this buffs up its weapon considerably. 15 shots is Very nice indeed. Very nice. And it's a good infantry killing gun. It's all right. You're still relying on orc ballistic skill. But yeah,
It's true, but it also don't forget it's the unit. So like you're going from the mech special, which is what 24 inches, so you're going up with that. That one's assault 9. This is assault 15. Your strength is gone down. It's gone from 5 to 4. Your AP's gone down from -2 to just -1, and your damage is the same. But I think the thing, if you're gonna bother with this, it's take a unit on them, because it affects the unit.
So yeah, I don't run boom daggers, so my knowledge of them is minimal. So you are. This is buffing you in range and type amount of shots, but it's nerfing your strength and your AP.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's more for hosing stuff down, like.
Yeah, against if you're against like a horde of nids or something, this is going to be a lot better. But
we have boys for that anyway, so it's like
man, if you're spending the CP or buffing something, you don't really want to be having a trade off, do you? You don't want to be losing something. You just want to buff something. Like I don't like it. I think it's crap.
it's okay, but there's other stuff in our army does the job.
You just want to pay for a buff. You don't want to pay for a buff and like I don't know, because you're paying for this. You're paying for it. It's not like if this was in the things data sheet and you could choose between a mech special and a souped up special, that would make more sense because you're just saying, right, do I want more shots or do I want the higher strength in the AP?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm paying for a buff, I just want the buff. I don't want a buff like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, take your car somewhere, pay someone to polish your car up for you. We polished it up, but we let your tires down a bit. What? No, no, I don't like it. I think that's they shouldn't have nerfed anything on that. So yeah, they're not all good, in my opinion. Take what you think. You might think it's really good. Again, like I say, if you're going against loads of infantry and guard, Imperial Guard, or nids and little gribblies and hundreds of them, or other orcs, I suppose, it could be good. But I don't know. I don't think I'd pay the CP to have a trade-off. I just want a pure buff. I don't want to have anything taken away at the same time.
On to the next custom job. We have the gyroscopic whirligig. It's for the shock jump dragster unit only. You can use this unit's shock tunnel ability when advancing, even if you did not roll a 4+. In addition, this unit does not suffer any mortal wounds as a result of the shock tunnel ability.
Makes the stratagem we spoke about earlier completely obsolete.
It doesn't, because this is in the advancing part. So you could use this.
Use it even when advancing.
Yeah, this is the guarantee. So you can use this unit shock tunnel ability when advancing. So that's when you normally do it, even if you did not roll a 4+. So what you do is you'd advance with it, see if you got the 4+. If you didn't, then you could use your custom job here, and then after that, even after you do that, you could do the other stratagem, because that one's at the end of your shooting phase. They're in.
Yeah, I guess because if you're advancing, then you're getting that -1 to hit, aren't you?
Yeah. So
I guess yeah.
The important thing about this is when it happens. It's when you're advancing, whereas the stratagem happens in the shooting phase. So there's nothing stopping you from.
Really good for shock jump dragsters though, because it's preventing you taking those mortal wounds as well, which is a nice little added bonus to this.
Well, that's what I mean, like about the stratagem. When we read it, I was like, well, do you still roll for the mortal? No. At least this one sort of specifies. So it's weird how they specify in some parts and then not in others.
I think this is better than the stratagem. I think this is better than the stratagem because you're avoiding that thing, you're getting to advance and everything and still use it. So it's just adding to its usefulness and reliability.
Yeah, this guarantees it, whereas the stratagem is more for shooting somebody and then buggering off. This is for guaranteeing you get your ability to grab something like an objective or whatever. But there's nothing stopping you from doing both.
Next one is Sizzly Rivets, custom booster blaster unit only. When resolving an attack made with a rivet cannon by a model in this unit, an unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. Nice. That's all I've got to say about that. nice.
It's all right. Like, well, it's your rivet cannon's a assault 6, so it's like,
it's nice.
It's nice if you take enough of them. Then yeah, but
Corkscrew, Megatrack Scrapjet unit only. The first time this unit finishes a consolidation move in each fight phase, it can immediately fight again. Lovely jubbly.
I think that could be useful if you're really smart about your unit combats, which ones you resolve first. So obviously you want to try and get the Mechatrack Scrapjets to resolve their combat first, and then if there's other units beside, you can consolidate in there, and there you go.
It's like old school consolidation, isn't it? Sweeping
like
advance.
3rd edition, where it was just like one unit of Khorne Berserkers just rolled the fucking table.
Yeah. When melee, in the days when melee was king. Yeah, certainly. So that's very cool. That's very, very cool. And you're consolidating in, so you're not getting the Overwatch and stuff. So potentially you can chomp through a lot of stuff. They're quite tasty, the combat, the old Megatrack Scrapjets. Next one, nitro-powered squigs, Rucker Truck squig buggy unit only. Will this make them good? When resolving an attack made by this unit's squig launcher or heavy squig launcher, add 1 to the wound roll. I don't think it's enough to save them from the sort of gingerhead stepchild of the new buggies, but it's good.
They go from always wounding on like 4+ to always wounding on 3+, unless it's vehicle or Titanic. So it's helpful, but it's the same again. It's like, all right.
It's a little buff to one of the weaker units in the decks, isn't it? So it's cool. If you're running Rucker Truck squig buggies, it's a nice custom job to give them to make them a bit better and a bit more punchy.
It's like if you it's more of a going from meta. Oh, it's all right. Yeah,
I mean, so far none of these have really interested me because they're all focusing on the new buggies, but we're starting to get into the good stuff now. We've got Gork's Roar here, Death Killer Wartrike. Add 4 inches to the range characteristics of this model's killer jet and change the type characteristic of its burner profile to Assault 6. So again, it's giving you a burner weapon with added range and more reliable shooting. So nothing not to like there. It's good. It's good. And I'm currently painting up my Death Killer Wartrike now. I've not used him in a game yet, but this Gork's Roar might be well worth using on him to make him that bit more punchy and killy.
It's going to help with your cutter profile on your killer jet because the range increases. That means that its ability is going to kick in at a greater range. So it's like if the target's within half range of this weapon, roll 2 dice when inflicting damage with it and discard the lowest result. So it's going to help in that regard.
And if he's in one of the pyromaniac subcultures as well, with that added AP and stuff.
There you go. See,
combo. So
do combo with your stuff.
Nice little thing. The next one is Deboomer. Battle wagon, bone breaker, or gun wagon. Model with a kill cannon only. Deboomer replaces a kill cannon and has the following profile: range 36, heavy 2d6, strength 8, AP -2, and 2 damage. So yeah, that is increasing it from
24 inches up to 26. We're going from heavy
D6, isn't it?
Heavy D6 to 2d6. We're going from strength is the same, the AP is the same, your damage is the same. So we're getting more shots and we're getting better range with the Boomer,
which is cool. However, with the with the gun wagon. So the gun wagon has its periscope. If this model remains stationary or moves under half its speed in its movement phase, it can shoot twice in the following shooting phase with its kill cannon, or zap gun. So you've got an option there. So, and obviously that doesn't include the Boomer. So again, it would need an FAQ to let you know if you were using that on a gun wagon, can you still use the periscope ability?
Yeah, because that is something that needs to be FAQ because it specifically says, like, note that some custom jobs are weapons that replace one of the model's existing weapons. So it is.
If it doesn't allow you to do that, then you've got the trade-off. Do I want to be able to use the periscope ability or do I want the Boomer? I think probably you would want the Boomer though. because you're getting double the shots and the added range. But if you could combine that with the periscope, if you could still use the periscope ability, I mean, you could still do it, because if you're using like the zap gun, you have to have one or the other. So yeah, I don't know. That's something
it's
to
the
be.
range. Like if this thing didn't have like increased range, it's like meh. It
And
all
if you're using
depends.
a gun wagon, generally you want that gun wagon sitting near the back, out of harm's way, and being able to do that from 36 rather than 24 is very nice. It's very nice. So that's definitely one I'll be potentially using.
Next one we have up is Zag Zap. It's for battle wagons, bone breakers, and gun wagons. Models with zap gun only. Zag Zap replaces a zap gun and has the following profile. So it is range 36, heavy 1, 2d6 strength, AP minus 3, damage 3, and its abilities. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, do not make a hit roll. It automatically scores a hit. Before firing this weapon, roll to determine the strength of the shot. If the result is 9+, do not make a wound roll. Inflict 3 mortal wounds on the target, and the attack sequence ends. So that's instead of our zap gun, which is the same range, heavy 1 as well. Strength is the same.
It's all exactly the same. It's just the special rules that are different.
Yeah, the special rule is different. And the zap gun, for reference, is before firing this weapon, roll to determine the strength of the shot. If the result is 11+, so instead of 9+ on this new one, do not make a wound roll instead. If the attack hits, it causes 3 mortal wounds. The bearer then suffers 1 mortal wound. So
this one,
you don't suffer mortal wounds yourself?
You don't suffer mortal wounds, and also when resolving a weapon, it automatically hits. Whereas a regular zap gun, you got to roll to hit, and you're probably going to miss with it.
So it's good.
So, yeah, it's a much more reliable and safe thing, and yeah, I think it makes a zap gun, any gun in an orc army that automatically hits is an instant, like, oh, that's worth your consideration.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. It's got good.
Auto hitting and then 1 in 4 chance. You know what I mean? Instead of 1 in 6.
Good stuff. Next one, Fortress. To some mechs, there's just never enough armor. Battle wagon, bone breaker, or gun wagon. Model only. The model has a save characteristic of 3+ and a 5+ invulnerable save. This is beautiful.
If you have a wagon in your army, yes. It's just like, why are we even talking about this? Just take it.
Take it. Yeah. Better armor save and an invulnerable save. It's brilliant. You don't have to babysit it with a big mech. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And why wouldn't you? Definitely.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? There's literally, this is one of those where it's like, well, why aren't you taking this if you have a battle wagon? Like,
100%. Next one is the Pincher. Model with a grabbing claw only. Pincher replaces the model's grabbing claw and has the following profile. Range melee, type melee, strength +1, AP -3, damage D6. Abilities. Each time the bearer fights, it can only make a single attack with this weapon. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, add 3 to the hit roll if the target is a vehicle or monster. So how does that differentiate from the grabbing claw? Because that sounded very similar. I have to flip back through my book now to find it. Grabbing claw. Grabbing claw is strength user, so it's +1 strength over the normal grabbing claw, and it gets, so what its buffs is, it's +1 strength, and it goes from D3 damage to D6 damage, and also adds 3 to the hit roll if the target is a vehicle or monster, which the normal one doesn't get. So you're hitting on 2s to vehicle and monsters, doing D6 damage with +1 strength. So, yeah, nice. Situational.
Yeah, another one of those.
Yeah, it's good. This next one, though, is very good. Red Roller. Bonebreaker model only. Replace the model's Bonebreaker Ram ability with the following Red Roller. When this model makes a charge move, add 6 to its attack's characteristic until the end of the turn.
So it's instead of the D6. So, nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice.
really good. And don't they hit on 2s anyway or something? Don't they? They're pretty damn tasty, aren't they? Death rollers are pretty good. And a red roller.
It just adds to Brown Breaker Ram adds the 6th tier attack characteristics as a model in the 5,000 until the end of that phase. If they made a charge move this turn, but you're still hitting on your weapon skills 5+, so it's just...
Does it not have a special rule of Bone Breaker that it does? Am I remembering that wrong?
Maybe you're harking back to ye oldie days. This is what happens when you've been playing 40k for a while.
Maybe I am.
Have you been a cheating bastard? Is that all coming out now, Steve-O? He's been 2+, mate, 2+.
I've got it. Death roller. Add 3 to hit rolls for attacks made with this weapon.
Right.
So the red roller, place the models back around. So yeah, there you go. So it's hitting on 2s. So you're getting 6 extra attacks.
I'll let that one slide.
I knew it had a special rule.
I was like, I don't use them anymore. I did in 5th edition. They were good crack.
Because they were used to be good, and then they went shit. But now in 8th edition,
they were great crack. Then they went shite, and now they're all right.
Yeah. So the next one, what have we got here?
Orchimatic Pistons. Yep.
Go for it. I'll let you read this one out, mate. I've been hogging them.
Killicans, Defthrez, Morkanaut, or Gorkanaut unit. Only add 3 to the unit's move characteristics. You can re-roll advanced rolls made for the unit. Nice! That's, I could see that being useful.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's very, very good. Add 3 to the move characteristic, which is amazing on its own.
So your dreads are going from 6s to 9s. Same with your cans. Your Gorkanaut, it's going to go up to 11. Same with your Morkanaut. It all adds up.
And in combination with some of the subcultures and things, you're really buffing up your cans and your dreads and that. Like I say, this book for me, running dread mobs, is so good. So many options here now to improve them.
Anything that gets your units into close combat quicker is golden. You know what I mean?
This next one is probably my favourite one of all the custom jobs, though. And it's so bad moony. Sparkly bits. I'm going to have to get the gold paint out now and just put some sparkly bits on my stuff. Killicans, Death Dreads, Morkanaut or Gorkanaut unit only. Improve the unit's ballistic skill characteristic by 1. So Killicans now, with sparkly bits, are going to be hitting on 3s and re-rolling 1s. There's one lovely little combination there for you.
In your little Gretchen subcultures, yeah.
Oh, it's just so fucking good. Yeah, I think a lot of my cans, I think something, because you can use one of these on one unit. One of my units is going to be coming with sparkly bits. I'm going to get the sparkles going. I'm going to be vajazzling some of my cans.
Well, yeah, mob is 6 Killicans. You'll get that's at least 6 miniatures worth of shooting that's being affected.
Definitely.
And the Gorkanaut as well. You know what I mean? Is it, Deathstorm Mega Shooter? It's called, or
that's hitting on 5s, so now you're hitting on 4s.
Yeah.
And it's a good gun as well. It's good.
Heavy 18. So I could definitely see it being useful for. Yeah, that's a good one as well. That's that's a really good one.
I mean, there's another combination there for you. So going back to the Boom Boys subculture. So you've got a unit of 6 Killicans, all armed with rocket launchers, in the Boom Boys subculture with strength 9, AP -3, and now they're all hitting on 3+. Yes, please.
If only we were allowed to give one unit more than one custom job, but sadly we're not.
But that's not a custom job, is it? That's subculture. Subculture.
Well then.
AP -1.
Yeah. See, we've gone through that many of them in quick succession. My brain's like,
so much. Yeah, I totally get you. But there's, and we're only literally we're scratching the surface here. I think this is going to rereading this book over and over and looking at your other books and combining
again and again and again. I've gone through the book a few times already. and it's like, oh, and this, and you'll read it again, and you'll pick something else up that you didn't pick up from the 3 other times you read the bloody thing. Oh, this combination. Yeah.
Then on the opposite side of sparkly bits, we've got dirty gubbins. Killer cans or Death Dread units only. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against this unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. It's good. I think I would quite like to use this on like killer cans with big shooters because they got the good range. And then you're wanting to keep them out of harm's way. So you're going to be shot at a lot. Subtracting 1 from the hit roll, quite nice.
It just depends. Like if you're given a choice between, if you're gonna take one, or and it's gonna go on killer cans or death trades, you're gonna go for sparkly bits over the dirty gubbins. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah, though.
But you can't have both, so you can have some sparkly cans and some dirty death dreads.
True.
You can mix it up.
Dirty. We've got Slug Gubbin next.
Another good one.
It's for Gorkanaut model only. Slug Gubbin replaces the model's Deathstorm Mega Shooter, we just mentioned, and has the following profile. So Slug Gubbin has the same range as the Deathstorm Mega Shooter. It is heavy 24, so it's 6 more shots. Same strength, same AP, and same damage. And then it has abilities. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, if the target was within 12 inches when the bearer was chosen to shoot with, add 1 to the hit roll. Nice.
Use this and then stick that Gorkanaut on a teleport pad and make sure he gets within 12 inches.
God, yeah, man.
And just let's fucking rip. Oh.
Add 1 to the hit roll. There you go.
So yeah, he's hitting on 4s, isn't he? Hitting on 4s.
Hitting on 4s with a heavy 24. And if
make sure he's bad moons, so he's re-rolling them 1s as well.
Yeah, re-rolling 1s.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
It's dirty is what it is. I think it's dirtier than them dirty gubbins. I think it is actually dirtier than them dirty gubbins.
I agree. Or do you want to get in close combat with your Gorkanaut? So Gorkanaut or Morkanaut model only. This is Gog Claw. When rolling to determine the damage characteristic of the crush profile of the bearer's claw of Gork or possibly Mork, rolls of less than 4 count as 4. So it's always 4 minimum damage. So again, reliable damage. I prefer the Slug Gubbin over this, but this is good.
It just depends. You know what I mean? It depends what you're up against. Like if you're fighting yeah, like if you're fighting a knight or something like that, you know what I mean, and you manage to get in close combat and it's coming down to your crush, then yeah.
You're going to use this if you've got a specific target in mind, haven't you? You're going to be like, I want that thing dead. I know he's bringing that and I want it dead. I've got a plan to use the Gorkanaut to kill it. Yeah, you're going to use this custom job to beef him up to that.
Someone brings Magnus onto the field and you're like, oh, if I get past his,
pluck the wings off him like an evil kid with a fly.
Give him a good smashing.
Blitzer Gatler next. Stomper only. Here you go, Scar. Here's one for you, mate. The model Super Gatler has a damage characteristic of 2. Very welcome. In addition, when rolling for the weapon's Psycho Daka Blaster ability, you can re-roll the D6 once per phase. So, I still think Stompers aren't going to be used, but if you are using them, damage of 2 is lovely, especially with all those Primaris Marines.
Yeah.
And being able to re-roll the D6 for your Psycho Daka ability, again, just makes it shooting much more reliable and much nastier, and it's welcome. I think this is definitely trying to address some of the issues with the Stomper and trying to make it a bit better. It's still going to get trampled by
it's
still
way overcosted. It's still way
but
overcosted.
That Psycho that the Super Gatler now with 2 damage is going to be spitting out some serious fucking hurt. It's going to mount up a lot more. Doubling the damage of it, is no small thing.
And then pushing your luck, you're more likely to get away with it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
If you're new to Orcs, the Psycho Daka Blaster ability is like in the shooting phase after firing a model Super Gatler for the first time. That phase, you can attempt to fire the second time by rolling a D6 on a 1. The weapon's ammo is being expended, You cannot fire it for the rest of the battle. On a 2+, you can fire the super gauntlet a second time, and then you can go on to try it again.
You're going to be much more likely to push the boundaries now if you can
Yeah,
re-roll.
you're more likely to go and push your luck.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's welcome. Anything that buffs the Stomper is welcome. And, you know, along with some of the subcultures and things which include it, along with this custom job, there are things you can now do to the Stomper to make it a bit better, and stratagems as well that you can use on him. So
Still pants, though. It's still pants.
Still, you've got to drop the points, GW.
Too many
Drop
points.
the points. Drop the points.
Should be like 500.
You're laughing. Yeah, you're laughing. So yeah, I guess summarize then on the custom jobs. I think they're fucking awesome and I love them. There's a few in there that I'm like, nah.
Yeah, some are better than others, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
But sparkly bits, yes please. Slug gubbin, yes please. Dirty gubbins, fortress, red roller, Orkimatic pistol. There's good shit in there, man. I just wish we could stack them just to be right. But yeah, again, much like the rest of this book, use in combinations with clan cultures, subcultures, stratagems. There are some evil combinations here that are going to improve your ballistic skill, your survivability, your movement to deadly levels. Really good shit. It's made killer cans have always suffered. This book helps killer cans massively in a variety of different ways. So yeah, very welcome.
There's nothing overpowered, I don't think. It's like there's some like good boosts, and there's a lot of like little boosts to units that were just
and they're not free, are they?
Yeah, they're not free either. No.
You either CP or the points of the mech shop, so they're costing you one way or the other. So you're not getting this shit for free.
No, and we're a pretty CP hungry army at times anyway. So it's like,
and it's in contention. You're spending CP on this, and you've also got big killer boss stratagems. You've got other stratagems there, plus all the standard ones that we love to use a lot, like showing off, like grot shields, like teleports. So you are making tough decisions now. We need ways to get more CP.
True. So we're on to the psychic powers.
Clan psychic powers.
Clan psychic powers. I do apologise. I missed the clan part. I was just like, psychic powers. So all clan psyker models can know the psychic power of their respective clan instead of generating a psychic power from the power of the WA discipline. See Codex Orcs. A clan psyker can instead know the appropriate clan psychic power from the list below. So if you make a weird boy a warphead, he can know his clan psychic power, and he can know one of the psychic powers from the Codex. Some people were wondering about that. That is the way.
First question is, are any of these going to replace the jump?
I don't think you'd want to replace the jump. I see myself taking, spending those command points, those precious command points, on making a weird boy a warphead. And I could see my Blood Axe one being used in conjunction with the jump. But we won't jump ahead. Let's get cracking into the first one, which is the Goth's Bull Charge. The Bull Charge has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Goth unit within 18 of the Psyker. Until the end of that turn, charging distances of less than 7 inches, roll for that unit after modifiers count as 7 inches.
It's easy to pull off. It's warp charge 6, so it's easy to pull off. It's all right. It's not one of the strongest ones in here, but it does. It's okay in the right situation if within that range. So you're kind of guaranteeing getting in. Doesn't help if they've obviously been jumped in there or teleported in there, because they're going to be 9 inches away. But yeah, we were saying earlier about Goths, weren't we? That they're really good when they get in the fight, but that they're not as good as getting in the fight as like Evil Sons and stuff. So it's okay. It's pretty good, but it's not the best one in here.
No, it's all right. I'm expecting there to be like something. Like, am I missing something here? Less than, like, why would you? I don't know. Maybe I've overlooked something in
I mean,
regards
like
to the
if you're
goffs.
if you are 7 inches away when you're doing your charge, this makes it a guaranteed successful charge. But at that thing with the re-rolls of charge orcs get anyway, you're probably going to be all right. Although the failures do happen because I've
I
had them
suppose
happen.
the only instance where I could see this being really helpful is if you're really close to an enemy and they have a super short ranged weapon. And they wouldn't be able to get Overwatch with it then if it was less than 7 inches. But there's nothing
Yeah,
off the top of my head that I'm like.
I think it's just it's helping their reliability of getting in the charge, but I think it could have been a bit better. If it had, I don't know, it's all right, it's okay, but it's situational. I don't think. Are you likely to, as a Goth player, choose this over other ones? I know you've got obviously the jump is always there, but even if you've got the jump and then you're choosing something else as well, you're probably going to choose something like Warpath over this.
Yeah,
Would
well,
you
I
choose
suppose, yeah, you're
Warpath
getting
or
to
would you
these
choose
seven.
this?
I think my brain is starting to turn to mush now at this stage. Thankfully, we're near the end of the book. But yeah, at
Yeah.
least you're guaranteed your 7 inches. You're grand.
These book reviews, man, they take it out of us.
Oh,
It's a
fuck me,
long slog.
yeah. Oh, we won't take too long. Nearly 2.5 hours later, we're nearly there. And we just covered the orc section. We didn't even go near the bleeding space wolves either.
Oh, no. Not interested. Next one is Death Skulls. Maniacal Seizure. Has a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches of the psyker till the start of your next psychic phase. When resolving an attack made by that unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. And when resolving an attack made by a friendly Death Skulls model against that unit, improve the armor penetration characteristic of the weapon by 1 for that attack. So
That's one of those ones you need to read twice to take it in. You're like, what?
Subtract 1 from the hit roll when
So you're making it
resolving
worse to hit if you're subtracting 1 from the to hit roll.
Yeah, that's what made me have to read it twice, that bit.
Improve the armor penetration characteristics of the weapon by 1 for that attack. So you're making it harder to hit, but you're making your AP better.
This must be a typo, surely, because if that
I think it's a trade-off. I think it makes it harder to hit, but when it hits harder.
I would never use this. The last thing you ever want with your orc shooting is making it harder to hit. For the trade-off of getting +1 AP. I feel like what it should be saying is until the next do your psychic phase, I don't know, the maniacal seizure. I suppose that I don't know. Okay, yeah, maybe it is word, but I don't like it. I don't
start
like
the next psychic phase when resolving an attack made by that unit. What is against an enemy unit? Yeah, it's against an enemy unit. I think that's the thing where you're missing here. When resolving an attack made by that, you subtract 1 from the hit roll. Maybe. Yeah, because it cripples an enemy unit.
There you go. There you go. That makes sense now. Okay.
So it cripples an enemy unit. It makes them their shots become shit, and it busts them open. So they're easier to
forget everything we just said. It's brilliant. You're harder to hit, and you've got +1 AP. Brilliant. Yeah.
I'm sure if I was to move my earphones, the bits of what's remaining of my brain would be dripping out of my ears at this stage.
So yeah, Death Skulls, the #1 clan in the Codex, have just got a bit better with this psychic power. Again,
we're nearly there, folks.
Cast that on looters. Cast that on looters and stuff. Have that, so they are.
You don't cast that on looters. You cast that on the enemy unit, and the looters will shoot them.
Yeah, all right, do that.
Cast them on the enemy looters. There you go.
Get to one that I definitely know something about now. Bad Moon's Gleaming Gear. Now, I love this one. I love this. Gleaming Gear has a warp charge value of 6. So that's good straight away. Nice and easy to pull off. If manifested, select one friendly Bad Moon units within 18 inches of this psyker until the start of your next psychic phase. When resolving an attack made against that unit, add 1 to the saving throw. Invulnerable saving throws are unaffected. So you get a +1 armor save. And initially, the first thing I saw when I saw this, I read that and I was like, I can have proper Ard Boys now, because if I spend the overpriced stratagem from the Codex and have Ard Boys, for their rubbish version of Hard Boys with a 5+ save, I can then cast a psychic power on them and give them a further +1, and then I get true 5th edition Hard Boys of 4+ save. So that's cool.
Until the start of your next psychic phase.
Until the start of the next psychic phase. So that's cool. Just it's cool to be in a ballsy, complicated, fucking expensive way of doing it. Actually being able to have proper Hard Boys. But I like this. And like you say, I would use this in combination with the jump. I would cast that on a unit that I'm about to jump, give them a +1 armor save, and then jump them. So that they've got that. That would be really cool. And it's just a Bad Moons unit, so it's not just infantry or anything. I could cast that on Killer Cans to up them to a 2+ save. I can cast it on Death Dreads or a Gorknaut. So really useful. And I'm glad being Bad Moons, it didn't just focus on shooting. It focused on armor, because not only do they like the best guns, they like all the best armor and gear as well. So it's good that it's representing that. And it's cool. I love it. I think it's really, really good.
Yeah. Plays into the factions narrative. Yeah. Snakebite. The Snakebite's Constriction is the next clan psychic power. Constriction has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of this psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, have the attack's characteristics of models in that unit. That is really fucking good. Like, really good. Really good.
Really, really good.
That's a really
I've had
good
it done to me with 1,000 Suns, doing it to me, that same sort of thing of halving your movement, and it fucks you. It completely fucks you.
Attacks characteristics, though. It's like having attacks characteristics. That's for,
Oh, it is. Yes, yeah, right.
You see, look, here's some brain leakage going on there.
It's brain leakage. You're right, man. You're right.
Unless I said movement.
You didn't. It's my brain leakage this time, not yours. I'm guilty. But yeah, no, having the attacks characteristics is great.
That's for when you want to go smash something in close combat that's pretty bloody killy. You just go, nah.
Well, you said we haven't covered space rules, so cast that on Ragnar Blackmane, because that cunt comes with a load of fucking attacks. So half those attacks straight away.
Yeah.
And Snakebite's needed some good shit, so that's cool. Evil Sons, Visions in the Smoke. Visions in the Smoke has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Evil Sons vehicle unit within 12 inches of this psyker. You can only select a unit with a wounds characteristic of 18 or more if the result of the psychic test to manifest this psychic power was 9 or more. Okay. Until the start of your next psychic phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, you can re-roll the hit roll. Cool. I don't know why they had to overcomplicate it with that bit in brackets, though, because so you select. Okay, so I was going to say, so you manifest the psychic power and then select the unit. Okay, so I was going to say, like, if you have to choose the thing and then try and manifest it first.
Yeah, but it would be a bit of a hit and miss then. If you didn't roll high enough, it wouldn't kick off.
You roll your dice, manifest it, and then potentially whatever you roll is going to dictate what unit you cast that on. But it's good. It's good. It's a little bit needlessly overcomplicated, I'd say, on that front. But if you really successful with your psychic test, you can only do it on a powerful unit. But it is good.
Yeah, it's decent.
Mm-hmm. One for you now. This is a good one.
Hey, Blood Axes, clever talk. Now this harks back to a bit of fluff from Here We Go, the Orcs, where there's a story, and they're listening. One of the Weird Boys is being used as a listening device and tuning into the Imperial's voice chatter. So the Weird Boy tunes in, and he becomes the radio. So this is what this is in reference to.
Very cool.
So the fluff, the Weird Boy physically intercepts the communication frequencies of the enemy, emitting the exact transmissions from his extended mod. The Blood Axes use this tactical knowledge to ambush the foe. So that's in reference to it. So the ability, the psychic, clan psychic power itself. Clever Talk has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit visible to the psyker. Note visible, there isn't a range. Until the start of your next psychic phase, that unit cannot fire Overwatch at Blood Axe units from your army and cannot be chosen to fight until all eligible Blood Axe units from your army have done so. That's good, man. That's like
awesome.
Told you, like um 2 psychic abilities on your warp head to jump, then this. And he can be over the other side of the board. Your warp head. It doesn't matter. There's no range on it.
That's really good.
Away you go.
Really good.
Townder Overwatch. Townder fucking Overwatch.
Yeah, it's still gonna. You're still gonna with Tau. They're still gonna get like the greater good ability and stuff. So you're still gonna be watching out for other units nearby overwatching you and stuff. But it's definitely good. I mean, it's very powerful. Definitely one of the better ones. And I think me and you have done very well out of this. Blood Axes and Bad Things have done very well in terms of psychic powers.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one here, one for Dread, freebooters, Jolly Orcs Glare. Jolly Orcs Glare has a warp clan. They're not a clan. Has a warp charge value of 6. They're all quite easy to pull off, these, aren't they? If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches of this Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, this is the one I was getting confused with. I knew I'd seen it somewhere. Halve the moves characteristic of models in that unit and subtract 1 from advance and charge rolls made for it. Yes, so I've had, like I said, as I was mistakenly saying a minute ago, I've had this done to me from the Thousand Suns, casting it on my Slugger Chopper boys and halving their movement and stuff, and it cripples your plans. It totally screws you. Leaves you stranded out in the open, getting shot to shit. And this is great. Freebooters, fairly shooty anyway, stopping things, getting near you. They're stuck out in the open. You've just screwed up your enemy's plans. It's easy to pull off. 6 inches. It's brilliant. It's very good. It's tactically very powerful and well worth taking. So, I mean, only one I would say is a bit meh is the Goth one. All the rest are really good. And even the Goth one is okay. But
that's like if you want to guarantee that charge, you know what I mean? But even then, we get like our rerolls where there we go and stuff. So it's like,
I think if I was Goths, I'd be going, nah, I'll still have the jump and warpath. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the rest of us do really well out of this.
I think the Blood Axe one's a really good one. I think it's a really good psychic ability, especially helping with the Overwatch. Like, shocking, man. Shocking.
I like it. I like it a lot. So your clan psychic powers definitely gets an enthusiastic 2 thumbs up from me. Big fan. And yeah. And the only other thing left is the Orcs name generator.
Huzzah!
So this is going to be the name of... Are you going to roll for me first?
Yeah, we'll roll for you first. Well, hold on. Give me a second and I'll see if I can set up the desk cam, move all these orcs I've been painting. So, you're not saying that I'm fudging it. We've got a black die and I've got a green orc die, so bear with me a second if I turn on this one. Boom! Oh, look at that. So I have 2 die here, since you don't.
Okay.
The skull is a 6 on the green die. So what you want to be your 10s?
So green, make it the first number then. Go for that. Right. Let's see what we got.
You've got 31.
41? 31.
31. With my
31.
Irish accent. 33 and a third.
So 31. So do we do this twice to get the first name?
You do it twice, it seems.
Okay, so my first name, my front bit of the name, as they call it, is Zagblag.
So his first bit and his other bit is 43.
Oh, I like that. Zagblag Steel Boots.
There you go. So there's your WoW banner knob.
WoW banner knob.
Zagblag Steel Boots. All right, so what's my WoW banner knob called then? 13. It's called Krog Skull.
Krog Skull. Kill Team.
Krog Skull, and then 56. Krog Skull Bad Fang. That's not bad.
That's quite cool. It's got a Blood Axe vibe to it, actually.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the web. We're gonna have to paint their names on their bases.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
That's cool. But yes, so there you go, guys. I'd say we went through that fairly extensively. We've covered everything.
Yeah, we literally talked about everything.
We don't fuck about with these book reviews, guys. We don't fuck about. We like I say, we not quite as long as the Codex review, but we hammered through it as pretty as fast as we could. It is late here at the time of recording this. We were going to upload this straight away, but I don't know if that's going to happen now. We're tired. It might be tomorrow. When you're watching this, we may have recorded it yesterday. Yeah. But yeah, there you go, guys. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. This, like we said already, there's like some blatant flaws, some fuck ups. There's some stuff that's like, but on the whole, I think it's probably the best thing we've gotten since the Codex came out for the orcs. Is this?
Yeah, definitely. It's really good. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's. I just want the real book in my hands now. Real book in my hands. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Anyway, if you stuck through this whole review and been reading along with us and listening, please share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed to both of us so you don't miss episode of Two Bald Knobs. This is a recorded one for the purposes of review. On the next one, we're probably likely to be going live again and interact with the community. It's what we do on here quite a lot. But yeah, there you go, guys. I mean, I'll just say it now, buddy. I'll say 6+ Steve-O signing out.
And it's goodbye from Scarnier. Don't forget to drill your barrels.
Hey, he's got an outro.
Hey, say look, we'll drill barrels quick-ish.